Welcome, everybody, to episode 186. I'm getting it right this time. 186 of the Planet Destiny podcast. Not 187, not 154, not whatever other number I said in previous weeks. 186 of the Planet Destiny podcast. Featuring the one, the only ZGphoto. And only ZG.
That's me.
Just him. Nobody else. Dan's not going to say anything. Aura's not going to say anything. He's just going to sit there and he's going to look like he hates warlocks really, really bad. Like
About that.
I said, don't say anything. Just look like you hate warlocks. Do it. What? Give me your biggest warlock war
I
face.
can't float.
Dude,
If I could float, I can show how much I hate warlocks. I can't run into a building and then float 15 feet in the air and have every enemy who spawned in being like, yo, look at this floating warlock. He has no idea what he's doing. And have me get team shot down to death. I can't do that because I'm a human. I'm not a warlock.
Just because you can't handle the Mary Poppins Pro doesn't mean that, you know...
Nobody can! The physics sends you flying into the air!
This man
This
does
character
not know
makes
how to
no
handle Mary
sense.
Poppins Pro.
Character makes no sense.
I miss better Aura from last week.
Who's
Blue
better
Moxie
Aura,
was-
dude? Is that Blue Moxie? I'm having
Moxie.
a word with him.
I miss better Aura already.
All right, boys.
Yes,
Let's
Mr.
begin.
ZGphoto is going to be our guest this week. We've got our usual host, Dan Finity, and Mr. Evil Aura. Welcome back. Good to have you back here. I'm digging the Final Fantasy 3 shirt, by the way.
Favorite game of all time.
Really?
Of all time, ever.
All right, you're back in my good graces. I love you, brother. Good stuff. But we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Most of it's not going to be Destiny related because there are other games coming out and other games to play right now. So,
So it goes.
has anybody here been playing Destiny this week? Like,
Yeah.
actually, I
I've been
haven't.
grinding like a fiend
Why?
this week. Because everybody in chat continues to mention little carrots, like getting all the bounties and Iron Banner done across all 3 of your characters. And I was like,
Oof.
I'll do that. So now I'm finding that I have to generate orbs in Crucible in order to do, because it's 50 orbs. All the other ones like
50,
get
yeah.
6 points, shoot 2 people, load into a game, and your bounty's done. And the other one is like generate 50 orbs in Crucible. And you're like, all right, because that's so easy to do.
Yeah,
one
orb every game. 1 or 2 orbs every game.
Titan Bubble. Titan Bubble's guaranteed too. If you get 2 of them, it's guaranteed for masterworked weapons. I have a masterworked Mindbender's Ambition that is absolutely ruthless.
Yeah, yeah.
And Blade Barrage is two per. It's like 1 orb per kill on Blade Barrage, so it's
How
Blade
many-
Barrage.
How many does I wonder how much Well of Radiance drops just from a cast. Is it 2?
Probably
So-
2.
Probably 2.
Yeah, it's like 1 or 2, yeah.
Doesn't PvE.
Yeah, yeah. So you might just be forced to, if you really want to just consistently get that done, just run support supers.
My Warlock is so new, it doesn't even have any of the other supers. I have... Oh, wait, I did actually unlock Well, now that I think about it. Because everyone's like, dude, unlock what a Chaos Reach, dude. Oh, no, unlock Nova Warp. Like, I'll never be a Nova... I'll never,
Nova Warp.
never
They
be a
got
Nova
nerfed,
Warp
why
Warlock. It will
not?
never happen. Okay? It'll never happen.
What's
I
up
will
with
never
you and
be a
Void
Spectral
classes,
Blades
man?
Hunter either. So
No,
for
you-
all of you out
that's a
there who are
mistake.
bad people,
That's a
That's a mistake.
all of you... No, you're bad
So
people.
is it
I'm a
only
good person.
Void?
You
It's
are
only
bad
Void.
people.
He hates
It's
Void.
only voice, so like even
How-
like the
Y'all,
tether.
I don't want to hear it.
Tether.
All
Look,
I hear is
Ferg,
bad people
he hates
talking.
Void.
Oh, because
Okay.
tether is so bad.
Why? Okay. Why?
Is this a bad person question? Is that what you're about to do?
Yeah. Yeah. Why is Spectral Blade for bad people? Why?
How is it for good people? How is anybody who's a self-respecting guardian going to put on Gwiz Invest and run
I
a
mean-
super for 15 minutes?
Because they
Alright.
want to
It
win.
doesn't
I
work
will
that way
say-
anymore,
Because
Aura.
they want to
No,
win.
dude, it's fine. We'll just team shot, dude. Let's go get your gun. We'll just shoot.
Well-
No,
Bro, let me start
First of all,
myself.
all the blueberries run away. That's all they do. They see it coming and they run. You cannot run it. You have to fight it. That's the first thing they do. Second thing, I'll grab power. I'll pick up a linear fusion rifle and I will dome that thing in the face. A
Okay.
skill shot. It does 96 damage.
Is this fair?
It.
Bad
Look,
people
Not enough.
use that
no.
super. Bad people.
Look. So, I mean, I am generally a low skill player. And
I didn't say bad players. I said
okay, Aura, you don't have to defend yourself that hard, man. Like, it's fine.
Change this
It's
guy's
okay.
name to- this is the
not fine,
debut
Chad.
of Good Aura. It's no
not
longer
fine.
Evil Aura. He is Good Guy Aura now. He refuses to use the busted classes in PvP.
Oh, good guy Aura over here.
Dude,
oh,
I got killed by a Nova
This
Warp
guy.
from like Texas, and the guy was in like Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Like it killed me. I was on Burning Shrine. I was in the hallway, the hallway and like the bridge. You're on the
Yeah.
hallway, and he was down in between the two. I was back behind the stairs that you walk up to get into that hallway, and it killed me. So it's a floor away, easily like 15, I don't know, 15, 20 feet, and I still died from it. I was like, holy, how do you fight against that? How do you fight back against that? Like, wow, it was impressive.
Look, I just think that I don't know. I feel like there's good counters for it. It's getting a nerf here soon.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know. Honestly, I think it's okay. I think it's okay right now where it is in the Iron Banner, which is what I've been playing it in and getting team wipes.
Did you play against a full team of Spectral Blades?
Team wipes.
I played against an entire team of Spectral Blades today, dude.
Well, that sounds fun.
It was, oh my god, it was all ice. Like it felt like it was going on. We actually won the match somehow.
Really?
But we won by like 2. Like we won in like last minute by 2. But it was like it
Actual
felt like it was a
sweat.
consistent, like a constant. It felt like a blade barrage that never stopped. Is honestly what it felt like. It was wild.
So is it the same thing for like a Void Titan? Like with that Sentinel shield where like, or like the gauntlets that like you kill a few things and you get, or like take damage and you get your super back as soon as
Doesn't
you
appear to be as rampant as it once was. The Ursas, they don't really seem to be
Maybe.
as apparent.
Yeah, I don't
and-
see a lot of them.
I was playing comp and I would, you'd verse like 4 Titans and they would just stagger their supers so well that they would just have them the entire time.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you do at that point? Like, what do you do?
You get
Right.
good.
Well, you don't.
Okay, listen here, Dan.
You don't shoot at them. Honestly, the couple of Titans that I ran into, most of them were either not paying too well of attention, or if they were focused on me, maneuvering them in a manner which opens up shots for other teams. Like you can't block 360 degrees.
Yeah.
So they were more manageable than Spectral Blades when people just panic and run. Like they try to
Yeah.
outrun it. Like I can't, because I'm still, with Destiny 2's been out for what? Like we're in like year 2 of it now.
Mhm.
I still try to shotgun melee supers. I don't know what it
Yeah.
is about it,
Doesn't
but
work
no,
anymore, man.
I still
Yeah.
try to do that.
I occasionally find myself doing that too, though.
It's almost like I need a rapid, like if I had a full auto shot, I'd probably stand a chance of doing it, like
Right.
a Kilos, like a full 2 rounds. But well, I don't know. I still try to shotgun. I got to take the shotgun out of my hand. But when you're trying to get orbs and you have a masterwork shotgun, double kills are like,
easy.
I don't know. I play all 3 characters now. I've been playing on my Titan. I've been really enjoying Dune Marchers. I think they're severely underrated as an exotic for the Titan. It makes my Titan incredibly maneuverable, super fast, longer slides. I had the most fun shotgunning on that character out of all of them. I almost don't know how to do it on a hunter. Like even with Stompies, I'm not as fast. Like I'm vertically more maneuverable, but side to side, front to back, it's not as easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
I have found myself, because I am a hunter main, but I play all 3 as well. But with the Stompies, like that to me, since they gave the Stompies the nerf or the buff to where like for triple or for like directional jump, where before it didn't do anything. The first jump where like it would just be higher, or like triple jump, they made it so like you could actually jump farther before. Like it reminds me so much of the Bones of AO now that I feel like almost a normal hunter from D1, but like with the Bones of AO with that, like you can almost outrun supers with those, or like you can directionally change so quickly where people kind of lose you because you're jumping so high and people are just, well, like it's on console, yeah, FOV is so bad, but
Yeah.
I love it's hard for me to take the bones off or
Stompies.
Stompies off.
I completely agree with you. Whenever I'm playing on my hunter, it's generally, if I'm not, running Mobius Quiver or whatever it is with Orpheus Rigs, then then it's Stompies, because the maneuvering options there are just too good. It feels too good to run around with those things. Yeah,
the jump to me feels so minuscule without the Stompies. Like I hate the hunter jump without the Stompies.
Yeah. I've only used the Stompies a few times in Destiny 2 to get to Ahamkara Bones. So I'm a little unused to them, like not used to them. But
coming from the Dune Marchers, I wanted to be more maneuverable. I'm so used to being able to move so well that I took the shards off I took
Mhm.
the shards off, put the stoppies on to try and give myself more of a chance to get double kills versus just playing how I normally play. So I can go back and forth either way. I use triple jump, which I probably should not. Going back
I
to my
use triple
roots
jump.
as a
I do
hunter.
too.
I
Yeah,
use
same.
triple jump. Triple
I
jumps with
just
the
almost
stompies
wonder.
are so good.
Yeah, it feels good.
Yep. I just say
But, yeah.
Ryan's the stompies remind me now, like back in D1 when I would be a Sherpa, and like the only way I'd be able to clutch certain jumps to pull people forward if we got stuck somewhere is with the Bones of AO, and
Yeah.
that's what it reminds me now of. Like I'm able, it just feels comfortable again. Like it. Yeah, you don't have like the triple jump where like with the Bones of AO you'd actually get an additional jump. You had 4 jumps.
Quad jump,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah, I've been grinding. I've been playing a lot, and I don't really like Iron Banner,
Yeah.
but I want
I've-
triumphs. I want medals.
Yeah.
I
Used to be
want
my favorite.
I
I've
want
been
some
I miss
stuff
Iron
to
Man.
do, and it's pretty easy to get powerful rewards out of it. Other
Oh,
than
yeah.
generating
Yeah, that's
orbs,
true.
which is the only one that's
Mhm.
along.
Yeah.
The other ones are pretty easy bounties to get.
Yeah, I used it on my Xbox character. I went in solo on Xbox and did I think I did 5 out of the or like 6 out of the 7 bounties. That's right. There's 7 of them, right? I think so.
I believe there are 7, yeah, and the
Yeah.
one that nobody finishes is the orb one. The
Yeah,
one
I
nobody
didn't finish
else
the orb one
fishes out.
at all. I got done with the other 6 and was like, well, I'll miss out on one powerful reward if I don't make all the orbs in the world. So I went through and but my character's like now at 609 on Xbox. So I'm kind of digging that, and that's just from doing Iron Banner stuff, I believe. I didn't do any Nightfalls or anything like that. And then I did like on PlayStation, I've just been running with my clan, just doing goofy shit in Iron Banner, because like that's really the only time I really have fun is when I'm rolling with my clan. And
Right.
like we've been doing this challenge called the High Five Challenge, where everybody lines up on a point, do the high five emote. If 3 people high five you, leave. If not, you just kill everyone. And it's been a lot of fun. And you laugh and you giggle and you quote Letterkenny and all sorts of stuff. And it's just stupid. It's stupid fun. So
That's a great way to actually make Iron Banner fun, because I haven't played Iron Banner in so long because I just don't enjoy it anymore. So you go in
Yeah.
as a 6 stack. Everybody lines up for the high five emote. If the enemy team is smart enough to not engage and just come up and high five, they get a free win.
it's so good.
That's beautiful. I love it.
It's funny you mention a 6 stack because
But
to
they can't
generate
create orbs.
orbs, like I have to go in as a solo or a 3 people or less fire team, because if I roll with a 6 stack, we're mercying people
Mhm.
before I even get a super.
Yeah.
So I had like today I'm playing with some savages, and I'm like, can we just not cap? Let's just not cap
Let's just-
zones. Can we just
yeah.
please like do whatever we can to actually prolong this? Like even not capping, we were up by like 50, 60 points. It's like
Mhm.
Outslaying.
I have to
yeah.
bail. I'm not going to get this done with people on my team. You know, it's the one time where like teammates are actually a burden when you're trying to generate these orbs. It's it was pretty crazy today. Today was pretty wild. I also got the Jotun, the Jotun from the
Oh,
old
really?
neighborhood.
Yo,
Yeah,
hey.
Hey, you got
Yeah.
the Jotun?
yeah, it's
I've died to that a
really
lot.
fun. It's a fun weapon.
is fun.
It's,
It is
not
fun.
broken. It's not broken. It
Right.
does require a little bit of
Yeah.
skill and prediction and understanding engagements, but man, is it decimate.
So
It's good in PvE too. Like it's a
Yeah.
dominant weapon.
I don't have it yet, and I know Nim did a review for
Yeah,
the
he got
channel. So what is the skill gap on Jotun? Like what? Like because I've died to it a lot. This Iron Banner.
It's
It-
inconsistent. Like
Okay.
sometimes it will follow someone around a corner, and other times it'll just buzz right by their head.
Hmm.
But it's a one-shot kill when it makes a connection. It will damage people around
Mhm.
it. It will weaken people around it. The charge rate's pretty bad. It's a pretty long charge rate. So
Mhm.
you have to be able to predict your movement and enemy movement and your engagement. But I dodge it more than I die by it in the
Yeah.
Crucible. Yeah, it whizzes past me more often than I die to it. And if I die to it in most situations, it's my fault.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying
Right.
attention. I was running in a straight line. Like this thing has a decent amount of aim assist to it, but like literally one step to the side and it'll go right past you.
Yeah.
It might hit your teammate who's behind you and he might wonder what the hell just happened, but
That
you'll
might be
skip
a lot
it.
of what's going on here.
Yeah.
Is it an insta kill even if it's a body. It just
Yes.
instant, as long as it hits, as long as it
It's
hits.
done.
It's a fusion rifle, so it's an instant kill.
Yeah,
Sounds
It just performs like a grenade launcher.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it reminds me when I first got it, because I got it like as soon as we launched in, I got like first day, and I got lucky, and it reminds me a lot of the mountaintop. So I just got the mountaintop, and it
Mhm.
shoots, it shoots straight. There's no drop off, but it does have some lock onto it. So I wasn't sure how it worked in Crucible because I got it, and then I kind of just messed around, farmed some more hand cannons, and never used it in Crucible. But
you're missing
I was
out.
curious about it. Yeah, no.
Apparently, it's pretty good.
Yeah, right.
I call it a fun weapon. If I'm playing against like a really good team, I'm
Yeah.
probably not going to go to that and be like, this is what I'm going to use to be my best on the playing field.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it's pretty cool. In-air accuracy is pretty good on it too if you fire from the hip in air, which is
Yeah.
really, really useful for a lot of people. I like
That's what I've
I
seen
like to be
people
an
doing with
aerial
it.
player. So
Yeah.
you jump around a corner and hip fire it. Most people are going to be looking for you to walk around that corner, not have
Yeah.
a projectile landing on their head. So it's pretty cool, man. I hope you guys spend some time trying to grab it because it's a lot of fun. It's a fun weapon to use.
I actually really enjoyed the sniper too. Honestly, I
Is it
enjoy that
Nagi?
sniper.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Tatara's tartar sauce.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you like about the Izanagi?
I mean, honestly, to me, I mean, now granted, it's a body shot.
Nagi. I
King.
thought you meant the Tartara gaze.
No,
no.
no. The burden. It's just a fun weapon. Like you just literally shoot somebody in the foot and they're dead. Like it just we're playing Gambit that one day, and you just can literally see somebody invade, and
It's
you're
a
like,
great
well,
counter-invasion
I'm sorry, but I saw your leg and you're dead. Like it's just a fun weapon. It's silly. It takes a lot of ammo, so you're not like really, killing a ton. But
Right.
I find it to be just one of those. It reminds me of sniping, how it used to be. Like it was just like if you got a hit, even if it was a body.
Like it
Like
used
just
to be.
felt
What, were
good.
you one of those final round people?
No,
like it used
no.
to be.
Oh, it used to be.
Boy,
Where are the
surrounded by
snipers?
bad
Where are the,
people, man.
where
I'm
are the snipers at in
surrounded.
Crucible? Where are the snipers at in Crucible?
I'm right here. I've been using
No,
this
you're a
weapon for
liar.
like 2
Liar.
months.
Yeah, I was talking about
Two
my
last 2
my
months.
ambition.
Yeah, at least
This
I've been
guy
sniping with the
doesn't go.
supremacy.
No, I mean, like you bring up a really interesting point about the Izanagi there. When people first saw it and learned about its ability, we all thought, oh, they're bringing final round back as an exotic perk on a sniper rifle. It's going to be crazy in Crucible, but it actually really shines in Gambit. That's where I actually see a lot of utility for it because you can just blow away invaders.
You need 3 bullets to kill in Crucible. You only get 2, so it's not like it's like you spawn in with 3 and you can just compact it and then get that final kill.
Yeah, you need 3. I think it's 3 if it's like a low armor individual, and then anything beyond like mid armor, you got to have 4 shots, which takes a lot. It takes a lot of time. You got to get some kills, pick up some special ammo. But in Gambit, where that's more readily available, it's a great counter invasion weapon.
Yeah,
like
I actually enjoy it more than the Queensbreaker
because it's easier to use.
It's easier to use,
which is crazy thinking about Queensbreaker.
Shoot him in the leg.
You can aim up here and get a headshot. Yeah, you just catch him in the leg. Don't have to worry about the charge up time. It's actually pretty good. I like it. Izanagi's got a niche. It's got a cool niche to it.
It's interesting because where we thought, like when Bungie talked about it, and they've been kind of guilty of this before. When they talked about it, they said they wanted something that would rival Whisper of the Worm.
Right.
So we're hearing what's coming, and we're thinking, all right, dude, like 200 billion damage on a headshot. And so the first day I got it, the first thing I did was go into a lost sector with it, and I one-shot a boss in the lost sector, and it didn't even do half his health. I'm like,
this sucks. Give me back my Whisper.
It took away half my ammo, and it's supposed to rival Whisper. And I'm like, this might be cool to meme. Like, get a bunch of fire teams together, go into a strike, and meme a boss where like 3 of us have it. But it's not going to rival the DPS of a Whisper, just in the fact that it's going to shoot through so much ammo alone. They'd have to increase the damage in PvE significantly for it to be worthwhile to use. I thought it was going to be a PvE weapon, honestly.
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was going to be.
Same.
Yep.
But everything's got its niche, and I was surprised to see that fit in so well, not just in PvP, but in Gambit. That's where it really caught me off guard.
I only got killed by it once in Iron Banner, like in the entire week I played. Only one player had it. He was a good sniper. I don't think it would have mattered what weapon he was using.
Right.
He was hitting his shots regardless. If you're out there, whoever you were. But I really haven't seen it that much in Crucible. I didn't really see snipers all that much at all. Most of the people who were using them were using the Crucible one anyway. The what is it called? The one from Shaxx itself. I forget what it's called.
Oh, the Crucible. Yeah.
It's the bite, not Bite of the Fox. That's the
Somebody's
the
gonna
Iron
say
Banner.
the
But
chat.
anyway, it doesn't matter. Whatever it's called. That's what I'm used to seeing.
Yeah.
Stuff. So, ZGphoto, of course, is our guest for this week. So, what do you guys say we start off with a bit of an interview here, asking some questions, see what's we can pick his
Sure,
brain
why
a little
not?
bit there.
All
Yeah.
right.
Seems like
All
a
right.
marginally interesting guy. I hear he
Marginally.
does.
All right, it's all right. It's all right.
One or two things.
You guys are so nice.
Welcome to the
CG.
show.
Yeah.
Happy to be here, man. So just a quick story. So the first time I actually heard of you was years ago, from my buddy Rock, who I ran raids with all the time back in Destiny 1. And I remember one day I might have been streaming like a raid on the channel, and we had finished up the stream. We had a couple hundred people there, and I was like, "Who should I raid?" Yeah, I'm not gonna end this stream and toss it to somebody. And he said ZGphoto, and I remember saying, "Why?" And Rock was basically like,
Yeah.
in the most British accent you can imagine, he's an all right guy. That was the first time I heard.
Dude,
him.
I haven't talked to Rox in so long. He's like
He's a cool
everywhere
guy.
now, though. Yeah, he is a cool
He's
guy.
all over the place. He's a nice guy, but he was like, he's an all right guy. So that was my introduction to you, ZGphoto. He's an all right guy.
And I
so,
remember that day. I remember that day, and Rox was like, "Yeah, I told Blacklink to send the host over here." I was
he
like,
bragged about it.
"Oh, you know he did.
Oh,
He's
God.
No,
gonna
he
brag
did.
about it.
You know
Rocks,
he
we love
did."
you, but we know
Yeah,
Yeah,
who you
so
are.
we tossed it your way, and I sat back and I watched. I was like, he is an all right guy. This ZGphoto dude's all right. I like this guy. He's a nice dude. He's done some big things since then. And why don't you take some time to tell us a bit about how you got started streaming? What it is you do?
So when I started streaming was I graduated college, and I haven't owned a game system in a few years. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna buy a PS4. Bought a PS4, and I accidentally pushed the share button, and it popped up Twitch and accidentally. Listen here, Laura. Listen here. You're unmuted right now. Okay, hold on, it's my turn. It was, I forgot what it was, Twitch and something else. And I remember I was like, what is Twitch? I have no idea. So I Google Twitch, find it. I find Destiny directory, and Goth was #1 in the directory still, doing its thing.
Of course.
And I found it, and I was just like, what is Twitch? I didn't even want to follow the guy yet because I was unsure. I was so confused what it was all about. Then
You think
4
you had
years
to sign a
later,
contract or something?
I had no idea what was happening when I pushed the follow button. I had no clue. Like it was all new to me. It was all live. He's interacting with everybody just as it's going by, and I'm like, this is so cool. But like, I'm not gonna follow yet because I have no idea what the heck it does. And then I find out that it's just like it's just like YouTube. You subscribe to it, you can see when they're live, you can hang out with them then, and then and I pushed the share button, and I started playing for my friends, so they would just come on and hang out. And then eventually, the first person, I still remember him too. His name was Chewy Swag. First person that followed the channel that I didn't know personally.
Mhm.
And that's what was like, wow, this is really cool. Like being able to meet people that I've never met before, interact with them, play video games that they have the same interests as me. I'm already a gamer, so like we get to share our same interests. And then I fell in love with it. I couldn't stop.
That is a really intoxicating moment, isn't it? Like you're just streaming, and it starts out with your friends, the people who play the same game as you, and then that first time you get a couple of people, you're absolutely right, where somebody just kind of pops in, and it's someone you've never met before who's now sitting back and watching you and interacting. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's a crazy.
Like they're giving like tips and
moment.
tricks, and like they're telling me like, hey, if you go over there, there's there's something of like a secret ghost. You can grab the ghost or whatever what they were, and I just remember that I just completely just was like, wow, this is really freaking cool. Like then I was like, babe, I'm streaming tomorrow. What's streaming?
Yeah.
Oh, and then that opened a can of worms.
So that's awesome. So like your first experience with streaming was just kind of random.
And it was all Destiny.
All Destiny. Huh? So you started
All
with
Destiny.
D1, right?
D1, day one. I wasn't part of the beta. I bought the Glacier Edition PlayStation, but I wasn't part of the beta because that's what Glacier Edition was the Destiny Edition PlayStation. And that's when originally I thought I was going to sell Destiny. I never owned an Xbox. I wasn't a huge fan of Halo. So I was like, it's by Bungie. I'm kind of nervous. I don't know. And then I played it and got addicted.
Years later, here we are. Huh?
Yeah. Got addicted.
It's really interesting. I always think it's funny to ask our guests how they got involved with Destiny, because some of the stories are always just insane. And so you got the Glacier PS4, the white PS4. It came with Destiny. You tried it out. What were your original thoughts on D1? How did it suck you in?
I think so, and I can also remember this too. I was sitting in the tower, and a Titan walked up with the exotic gauntlets, but that back then I didn't know what they were. They were the gauntlets that have like the blue like armbands. I forgot what they were. They were for Titan Bubble. They were for a Titan Bubble. I forgot exactly what it was for, and I was just like, I want that. I want that. Those look cool. I have no idea how I get them. What are they? But I want them. And then I was just like, then the VOG was like, oh, you have to be a certain level. And I'm like, level 23 or whatever it was, like too low to go in. Yeah. But you were just trying to get it. Then you finally beat it and somebody gets the Vex Mythocast. And you're just like, tunnel vision. I want to get that. I want to play it. And then Fatebringer, Gallahorn, Icebreaker. That's when I started falling in love with that game. Just like everything was just so unique and a game that I've never played before. I've always been a first-person shooter guy, whether it be Call of Duty or back in the day, like SOCOM. Like I played SOCOM all the time, and I never played a game that was like a mixture of like an MMO, where it's like you're kind of grinding some stuff. You have to do some certain things to get certain loot, and I never played that before. Destiny is really the first game that I ever played like that, and I got addicted right away. I just couldn't stop.
Right on. It's intoxicating just seeing that.
Intoxicating.
What is that? I want that.
Yep. I remember sitting in the tower and being like, what is that?
Yeah. Oh, man. And when you're in the tower in D1 and some crew came rolling in with Chatter White and the raid gear, it's like, awesome. Mm-hmm. Where did you get that from?
Or like the Nightfall aura. You know what I mean? Like seeing that, I was like, what is that? Oh, if you complete a Nightfall, dude, let's complete a Nightfall. I want that.
I want a flaming head. Yeah. That's, and D1 was just so chock full of that kind of stuff, that kind of mystery and then the allure of just the loot that you could get. It's probably one of my favorite things about the franchise. So you talked a bit about Vex Mythoclast there. What was your favorite exotic from D1?
Vex for sure. Yeah. But I would say, honestly, I love the Icebreaker. I was a huge fan. Just the way that the sound of it. I mean, it was fun in Crucible. It was, you'd regen ammo, but it was just a really fun sniper to use. And I loved it. And I got addicted to it. Even when meta changes would happen, like snipers weren't like the meta anymore. Then sidearms and all this, it was tough to snipe, but it was just always very satisfying when you would get that crit hit and you would just see their body explode. I loved the Icebreaker. Icebreaker was my, hands down, probably one of my favorite exotics.
That's do it too.
Dude, it so good. I miss it. I miss it so much.
I can still hear it.
Yeah. It's a good one. It was a good one. I miss that sniper a lot, actually.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that I wouldn't mind seeing come back into D2. I don't think with the special weapon economy we have right now, Icebreaker would anything bad.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, the way that they're bringing exotics back, who knows? Who knows?
Sounds like something that might come out this year.
Yeah, right.
Hey, man, Bungie's got a lot of stuff going on. They're going to need to pad out that content release schedule. Time to throw back in some more D1 PvP maps. Heard you guys miss First Light. Bring it back. So Icebreaker, Vex, Mythoclast is definitely some year one classics. We do have Last Word getting ready to drop in another couple of weeks. Did you ever spend any time with that in D1?
Oh yeah. I mean, I did occasionally. I enjoyed it when it was like everybody was using it, so like I felt like I had to. But then I'd fall back like I don't want to use this. Like I'm using it because everybody's using it. So like I fell back into the Icebreaker. But I will say this for Nem, I was a big fan of the Necrochasm too. Necrochasm was a good one too. I enjoyed that auto rifle a lot, actually.
That rate of fire, man, and the explosions it caused, especially after it got
the scream, the scream of the explosion. That was always a cool little feature.
Good little Christmas gun.
Yeah,
it is now known as, thanks to Mega Magwitch.
Christmas gun.
Great. But okay, so awesome there. So of course, you played through D1. Did you have a favorite raid from D1 or like favorite experiences?
I'm gonna actually say my favorite raid is the Wrath of Machine. Really? I know a lot of people have like the nostalgia around VOG, but I love the fight. I love the mechanics. And I think like back in D1, I was a big time, like for me, mentally, as I was a Sherpa, I would just always raid, and I played them all as a Sherpa. And to me, what I always found as the King's Fall for me is just, it gave me like I couldn't get into it as much as all the other raids. And a lot of people are like, oh, King's Fall is my favorite.
Understood.
But Wrath of the Machine, the very last boss fight, there was just the movement that people had to be like, the communication had to be clear. Like you'd literally have to say like, all right, guys, no talking on the comms. Like we need to, so you can move around for challenge mode or whatever it was. It was just, I would say Wrath for me was probably my favorite D1 raid.
I think that's a perfectly reasonable answer because Wrath is my second favorite D1 raid. I think it's just such a high octane ride from start to finish. I think that was some of the encounters there were designed really well. Whether it was the first boss, the war priesty kind of dude, where you have to shoot the monitors.
Is that his name?
Vosik.
Yeah, Vosik. Yeah.
And
He was a nightmare,
who
man.
didn't shoot their monitor?
Yeah.
Somebody on left side.
It's like, I was in that room. What happened?
When there's 3 people left, and they're like, I'm gonna have to grab both bombs. Fuck.
Usually doesn't work out, but the death Zamboni, what a great set piece that was to just fight on top of that wall and get chased off of it. Yeah, I think Wrath of the Machine was a fantastic raid, and I think they channeled some of that spirit for Scourge of the Past.
I agree.
But man, yeah, that last boss fight, empowered left, empowered right.
It just, the comms had to be clear, and it was just it just made it fun to like hear just such the teamwork that everybody was doing.
Yeah,
for me, for King's Fall, it was like, you know, there was communication obviously, but like once things were set, whether you were watching ogres or you know, watching the knights or whatever, there was no more comms after that. It was just everybody just making sure that they're, you know, on their plates, and then the guys running up and grabs the orb. But there was just something about the communication of the Wrath of the Machine is what I enjoyed.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with King's Fall, it's very King's Fall. I think is a really well done raid, but it's very mechanical.
I agree.
Everybody has their role, and especially in that last boss fight, you're just following. It's like clockwork.
Yeah,
exactly.
And everybody has to be on the right page for that too.
Like,
Otherwise, you're gonna have failure.
There's like 4 fail states for that, sort of like with Spire of Stars, where there's like 5 different fail states. If one person doesn't do something right, bada bing, bada boom, it's done.
Yep.
But Wrath is all about communication and flexibility. Really, you know, you never know if you're going to get empowered, so you got to be.
And that's when the bones really shined in that raid for me. Like just jumping from side to side in that raid. Like you could. I mean, if somebody went down, you could beeline straight to them. Faster than a Titanscape, because you could just jump over certain walls. You didn't have to worry about anything. We didn't have grapple back then, you know. So like it was just really nice with the bones.
For me, it was extra security while running the relic.
Yeah,
like if you fall off, if you miss a jump here or there, like you didn't really get that with other characters. It just made being the runner with Hunter that much more enjoyable, that much easier for you to be the one who's going to get it done. You know what I mean? Warlock was probably the hardest out of those characters because it was such a direct path.
Floof.
When you hit that floof, like, you know, everything else.
There's no correction. There's no correction.
You just float miserably to the ground essentially when you miss the jump. So it's,
Plus, as a hunter, your cape just looks majestic with the constellations rolling against it. It was kind of nice. It's kind of beautiful.
It was beautiful,
and their void super.
Yeah. I would roll Golden Gun on that the entire time.
Celestial? Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, Celestial always.
Just hit Oryx once in the chest. And he's like, oh God, what did I eat?
But you'd always have at least like one tether. You'd always have one tether.
Oh yeah.
Because what you would do, you'd have everybody group up in the center, let all the ads just melee on you, you know. And then you just, all right, you saw the the thing above the super bar that says like, you know, Oryx has done whatever. All right, shoot your tether, boom. Everybody has their supers again.
Boom. It's the super. It's good.
And that's another thing I miss about Tether too. Is Tether just the only reason why I like Tether is because of Orpheus rigs, but it doesn't feel like the orb generator it used to be.
It is. You have to play it differently. Like, you have to grasp everything. It like the
like 8 or like 6 or 8 ads that need to be collected in the
Shuro Chi fight is a prime example of how to use a tether, because like you just have to gather everything, and normally I do a countdown of like 3, 2, 1
Right.
before everybody throws a grenade in, because if not, it just wastes
Yeah.
everything. So
That's good stuff there. So we're talking about raid experiences there. Do you have a favorite raid in D2?
Last Wish.
Last Wish.
mhm.
Yeah. I enjoy the fights. I enjoy the mechanics. I mean, it is a little bit longer of a raid. I got burned out because I got burned out in year 1 because was still doing a lot of Sherping, and it got to a point for me personally, that it, clan engrams, you didn't have to do a raid to get a weapon. Like, everybody's getting Sins of Past. Like, oh, dude, you just got the Sins of the Past, dude. That's a great rocket launcher. Oh, I already had it. I got the clan engram. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then none of the armor was really useful. Like, it wasn't useful in the raid, and it was just an aesthetic. Like, it looked cool because it's from the raid, but I got burned out really early on with those raids, and it was just something with the Last Wish when it came in. It just, the mechanics, the boss fights. You're fighting a dragon. Like, I don't know. It's a really good raid, and I enjoy it a lot. Like, I really do. That raid's fun.
How do you feel about the Taken mods instead of having gear that has ability to do damage to Taken during that raid?
I don't mind it, because then you can apply it to any piece of gear. But it's something like, with, for example, like going back to like VOG, like something small, like a Vision of Confluence, or all the raid weapons where it said, do additional damage to oracles.
Yeah.
Like, that was intrinsic on the perk or on the weapon.
Yeah.
That's something that I miss with a lot of D1 or D2 stuff, is that there's no real perk to the weapons other than the mods you put on them. Like, it'd be cool, like, if there was, some sort of intrinsic perk on those weapons that were good in the raid, but then you could add an additional mod to make it, whether, be like counterbalance, or, like some sort of mod to make it good in the raid or good in somewhere else. I don't know. I miss the intrinsic perks of the weapons. For sure.
Are there opportunities in raids currently that would allow for things like that to occur, though? Like, when Vault of Glass, the oracles are there. Like,
unique to
what is actually there in Leviathan, in Eater of Worlds, in Spire of Stars, that something like that would even fit? Like, the only thing that comes to my mind is more damage on skulls in Leviathan. Like, have it so that your weapons take out skulls faster, so you can get more skulls for DPS. Like, I'm running out of is it going to take out the eye in one shot instead of like 2 shots on a pulse rifle? Is that even going to be beneficial? Like, I'm trying to think of like where a perk like that would come in handy. You run faster when you're holding the heart. I don't. There's so few.
That could be something.
But there's so few areas like that we're literally grasping at straws to come up with ideas that would fit. So things changed in raids themselves that don't really allow for things like that to exist. Is that a functional foundation design in the raid problem, or is that actually a fault of the weapon system?
Well, and so if you were to do something like that, you also now have to take into effect the mods that they did introduce.
They did add, yeah.
Where they added like minor spec, boss spec, major spec. Like, if you were to perk out for a specific, like if a weapon had a specific enemy type that it did better against, well, would you want to put the boss spec on it? Like, to do a little bit more damage? Probably.
There's only one boss in Leviathan. There's only one.
Right, is everything else a major?
Everything else is in the bats, in the dogs, they're majors. They're not actual. There's one boss fight. The rest are mechanics, right? So in Eater of Worlds, you have one boss. You have Argos.
That's true. Okay,
right?
Yeah. So like in the D1 early raids, yes, which is probably like those items do not have the same mod slots that we have now, right? Like the year 1 stuff doesn't have a mod slot that we can just slam a year 2 mod into. Correct?
I don't think so.
You can't put a mod on that close. That's why everybody's going after threat level.
Exactly. Yeah. So like with this new gear that we have though, we're able to do that. Like, and so like that's what would make more sense for like a Last Wish, like Morgoth. the Morgoth encounter, like that is a boss, I believe. Correct? Yes. No.
Yeah,
Alex?
that's a boss.
Yeah.
Boss.
So I don't know. If I could
So
throw that on a scout rifle
or Kai or whatever. And
that does damage taken.
Like, think about it, like, I mean, I would even say, like, maybe even thinking about it, like, just even more, like, you could put a minor spec on for any ad, right? But, like, let's say, for example, like, back in year 1, we didn't have that yet. So, like, let's say, while on Leviathan, using these weapons, you did more damage to Cabal.
Right.
So, like, if you're on the Cabal, if you're on Leviathan, you're doing the raid. The raid weapons do more damage to Cabal.
Like the mods that they added to the
Yeah,
one raid gear.
and that's why for me it kind of burned me out a little slower, because nothing felt like, yeah, you clan engrams kind of ruined it, and then like the raid weapons, just they were good, but like not like anything special. Like even if it was small, it was just small stuff, like 2 extra damage to Cabal. Like, I mean, now that's just again like grasping at straws. But like, it was just, even if it was just, oh, dude, look at this, man. Like, oh, they have.
I don't think do more damage to Cabal would be enough. We'd probably still be having the same conversation, because that's like, again, when you go back and you look at raid specific things, something that was individualistic and specific to that raid is an Oracle in Vault of Glass. Cabal is just everywhere. Like there's no mechanic or physic that was Cabal based that would make something like that be like, oh, this is actually worth me trying to get because it's going to make the encounter, like, it's almost just making something easier for the sake of making it easier. And when you apply a buff like that across the entire raid, you know what I mean? Like you're handicapping the raid that you just spent 4 years developing or whatever, just giving everybody a free pass at the only enemy that you'll encounter throughout the course of the entire thing. I don't know that I would go the damage route anymore. I think, I mean, Nem in chat's like increased mobility during the gauntlet during running. Honestly, increased mobility perks end up messing me up more than anything else, because I think there was one for that with was there one for that with Oryx too, where you had increased mobility while taking or something like that? That made those jumps harder for me. I'd overshoot those jumps at that point. I don't need to go any faster. I got this. So like, because I'm saying dead serious, like I'm pretty sure that was one of the perks, and I felt like it actually messed up my jump more than helped me because I was overshooting my landings.
Yeah, like even in the gauntlet, like a lot of times now too, I see it, and I kind of do it just for fun inside of the gauntlet, is that you can actually skip like the 2 of the rings. You just turn them red and you can make it through them anyway. Like you don't necessarily need more. You don't need more mobility. You're already moving fast enough.
Yeah, that's why I think, midway through year 1 with D2, they added in those raid mods, because this was the exact conversation people were having. Why is there nothing on the raid gear that actually gives you any sort of help in the raid itself? So they added in stuff like heavy hitter, like energize. Those mods were like getting melee kills, drop power ammo more often, and using power weapons would boost weapon damage by 15%. I think that's probably the way they could go with furthering raid gear. Give you stuff that's only active in the raid space, so that the raid gear itself, like Aura said, if they just gave you a native 15% Cabal damage buff, you would have no incentive to take that off anywhere else in the game, because you just have 15% more damage against that mob everywhere else in the game. Just give stuff that's only going to be active in that raid world space, like they did with the mods in year 1. I don't know why they didn't bring that back for Scourge of the Past and Last Wish.
What were some of the perks in like the King's Fall raid where for like weapons? I don't remember, because I'm pretty sure
Cocoon was the big thing.
Cocoon,
Cocoon. And it was a really good perk.
Yeah,
by the
Terminus,
and it was intrinsic on all of them, right? They all came with it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So, I mean, you brought up a point about the weapons themselves. Like, I can really only pick Vault of Glass and say that just about every weapon that came out of that was a masterpiece.
Yeah,
just about. Every raid literally since almost could argue that Leviathan with the Midnight Coup brought one of the most popular guns, maybe second to Fatebringer or Vision of Confluence in terms of a reward. I can't really remember a King's Fall weapon that dominated. Quillam's was a very good LMG, but there were other ones that were right on par with it.
I think the only reason why the Terminus was because of the Cocoon. I really think that's why the LMG from King's Fall was even worth, is because of the Cocoon.
But like, what else was out there that people like died for, like this fate, like the Fatebringer and the Vision of Confluence? I mean, Midnight Coup is still this far into Black Armory a go-to weapon for a lot of people.
Yep.
About the only other raid weapon I can think of in D2 is threat level. That's the only other thing that I really see people going for.
Yeah. I don't know. I got a chattering bone that's super nice.
I will say
Bone's
Chattering
one to
Bone
talk about.
is pretty
Yeah.
good. Chattering Bone's pretty good.
Full auto and rampage on it with a rampage perk, and it's like, mwah.
Maybe
Yeah.
the transfiguration becomes something that people look for with the changes to scouts coming up,
Maybe.
because it's not an awful gun. It's just awful with the current way that they're built in function, like all scout rifles, really.
What
But
do you
again,
think?
like, there had to be one from Crow to Zen that people wanted real bad, right? There's got to be
It
one.
was the rocket. It was the
Yeah,
rocket
the rocket
launcher.
launcher was great. It was
Hunger
like
Crota.
mini Yellerhorn.
Hunger Crota
Yeah.
was like, yeah,
It-
but no,
It was
dude,
the only reason.
because
Or the Black Hammer. Talking about the Black
Well,
Hammer.
the
Black
Black Hammer.
Hammer?
There you go.
yeah, that
There
has
it
to be.
is. Black Hammer.
And with Crota Zen, it was hard mode had one set of weapons and normal mode had the other, and
Yeah.
weren't the better weapons in normal? Is
Yeah,
that right?
Black
The normal
Hammer was a
weapons were
normal
in.
drop.
I feel like there was. What was it? Wasn't it? Honestly, I thought the shotgun was good in Crotus too, though.
I think a lot of people
Yeah.
slept on that. The Swordbreaker.
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
sword
Swordbreaker's
breaker.
I
great.
think a lot of people didn't think that was a really good gun, but when you constantly ran Volta Glass and you constantly dealt with Praetorians,
Void
there was no
Shields,
better
man.
gun to pull out than that thing, man. That was a wonderful weapon.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't talk about it. And like, was there anything from Wrath of the Machine?
Genesis Chain was pretty good.
Yeah.
The
Genesis-
LMG. What was the
Yeah,
name of the
Genesis Chain, you didn't want to take that off almost. Like it was super good. The hand cannon for the phase before the boss battle, before the final boss battle. When you have to take out all the shanks, that would do like it would one hit everything.
If Materia, that was the
yeah,
name
yeah.
of the villain.
I honestly
Uh,
forgot my loadout, but it like I found myself for days on end farming the Imago loop for so long
mhm.
Yeah.
that was basically my only weapon in Wrath of the Machine. It was just Imago loop. I would get life support, and like spray and play.
Mhm.
So you just never are dying. You can reload quickly and you're gaining health if weak
So
after
like,
ad kill.
the basic consensus is that many of us are scratching our brains trying to, and even chat, trying to come up with names of weapons from raids that really stood out
Mhm.
outside of Volta Glass, which most likely had the most of them.
All of them were
Yeah.
standout weapons.
You just, I don't know, like just trying to think of other ways for raids to be.
Meaningful.
And to wrap back to the point we were having here, I'm actually in Dim right now looking at my year one vault, and I'm looking at some of the weapons from those previous raids, and they basically all had intrinsic perks that helped you inside the raid. For Wrath of the Machine, it was Whirlwind's Curse. You did bonus damage against Fallen, and you had bonus agility when the weapon was equipped. But in addition to that, all of the Wrath of the Machine weapons had special perks on them that made them different from like normal weapon counterparts. For the Ex Machina, it had the mixture of spray and play, which increased your reload speed when the magazine was empty, and wait for it, where reloading when the magazine's empty give you a larger magazine than normal. So you actually got more shots kind of out of thin air when you were using it, and that's kind of the thing that's missing right now from a lot of weapons in D2. There's no real big synergy like that outside of stuff like threat level with the Masterwork or Ikelos. I can only think of a few weapons, or Midnight Coup in D2 where there's really that same sort of utility.
Yeah.
That's what.
I mean, like, yeah. I mean, we were just talking about how, like, I mean, even additional damage to Cabal, like, on the Leviathan would be like, you get to a point like, you don't really want to break your raid, but like, it was already a perk in the Wrath of
Yeah.
Machine. Like, it does extra damage to Fallen.
Yeah.
So, like, I think even if it was small stuff like that, like, it would just, but again, it was the clanograms that kind of ruined it for me too.
Yeah.
And like, I was even thinking, like, if even for
Yeah.
clanograms, like, let's say you got the clanogram, but you didn't get the intrinsic perk because you didn't actually do the raid. So, like, I was just saying, like,
That would
it
be
just,
Nude
it
versions,
was-
dude. Naked versions of the
Yeah.
guns.
yeah,
Stripped
Well,
versions of the armor.
Ooh.
I think it just goes back to the weapon system wasn't done when the game came out,
yeah, yep.
Mhm.
is what it says
I
to me.
agree.
Because they rebuilt the weapon system, I would at least believe, from the ground up, seeing as we only got one power weapon and we ran with two
Yeah.
primaries for year
Two
one. It
primaries.
just
Yeah.
goes back to, and this goes, I didn't get to talk to you guys about Activision and Bungie split, but I just kind of hope that we're able to get the full version of what they're putting together without a deadline looming, even if it means that we wait a little bit longer for it.
Mm-hmm.
What in my brain Activision had a lot to do with was launch dates and deadlines that weren't reasonable for a team that has to do and has to be as creative as the Bungie development team has to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of they would have had time to catch up come Last Wish and Scourge of the Past. As they've proven with Warmind, they got caught up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
And you're right. We didn't get a chance to discuss that with you last week, so I'd love to get some of your thoughts, and especially ZG, your thoughts on the Activision Bungie split.
Mm-hmm.
But I would just start off by saying I 100% agree. I think we talked a bit about that last week, Dan, that the biggest benefit of the split is probably going to be that they no longer have these yearly annualized deadlines hanging over their head.
Yeah,
not having to have either a new game or a new major expansion every single year at the exact same time means Bungie's hopefully going to have more time to develop the things that they want. But CG, if you want to get any ideas on this thing.
I 100% agree, and I think for me, like I've never felt this way about Destiny. Where like, man, like I don't necessarily want to sign on today. Like it's just I've never had that feeling, and it could also just because we've been playing it for so long. But it hasn't had that same feeling that I remember, and it's not necessarily the game. It just something was, and I am 100% willing to wait a little bit longer for content if it's really like with Forsaken. That was a lot of fun. With Warmind, you saw the progression that they had. So I mean, even doing that was fun. Like the EP was fun for a while, and I really appreciate them actually bring it where it was. You do wave 7 and then you fail. You don't go back to 1. You go back to 6.
Originally, right?
It did originally. It did originally, and that was rough. Like trying to help people with that. People would be so frustrated with themselves, and like you'd start really strong, and then you fail once, you fail twice, and then people would start losing their, focus, and then we would never complete it. And so for me, like when they implemented that, and I also thought too for the Niobe Labs. Now, granted, that puzzle was just, I don't know how people could even think about how that worked. Yeah. And I was just watching along. But for me, I was like, a lot of people weren't able to get to that final phase to just even do trial runs. You'd have like one smooth trial run and then it'd be a wipe. Like you have to do all of that again, one smooth trial, and then you wipe and you go back to start to 1. And I was like, well, what happens if they would have just did like the EP, where like you fail, you go back down to 6 and redo that, and then start back up at 7. Because like I just know a lot of people got really burnt out trying to get to 7 to just wipe.
Yeah, that was I don't know who play tested that, but that was not a
But my overall with everything going on, I 100% agree, and I am willing to wait because I am already a Destiny like fanboy. I love Destiny. Right. Been playing it for the last 6 years or whatever, and it is I am willing to wait. But I know it might not be like the best business move, but I am willing to wait, and I'll be here.
Yeah, so I think we asked this to everybody on the show last week, but since Aura wasn't here and ZG, of course, you weren't here, we'll ask it again. Personally, I think this means something that Luke Smith confirmed in the TWAB, and we'll go over that in just a bit, that basically they're going to continue with the annual pass content, like Joker's Wild, Penumbra still on deck to come out. But after that, I don't think we're going to get another big expansion this year. I think if that was on the schedule, I think that's probably going to be pushed back. What do you guys think?
I don't know that it matters. I don't see them not giving us anything. I'll say that. Mm-hmm. I can't imagine us going all the way through to 2020 and them saying this is it. But there's a couple things that I have a couple questions about. I watched a couple of YouTube videos about the contract and what it meant. Apparently, the 10-year contract started in 2010.
Yep.
And runs through 2020, not 2014 to 2014. So this was basically going to happen regardless. This was kind of something that was going to be coming down the pipeline anyway. My big questions are this: how's the monetization going to change?
Right.
How's Bungie going to handle the business aspect of things with collecting payments and and us funding the game that we love? Is it going to be a big time focus like Epic Games has kind of like the framework for, where they rely heavily on microtransactions? I don't think Bungie can survive that way. So
either.
Are we going to get a monthly subscription? Are we going to have
Mm.
live teams that continue to put out content on a monthly basis? Is it going to be $60 or $100 every couple of months? I have more questions than I have answers.
Yeah.
Essentially. And there's two things that I think. One of them is deadlines are going to change, if they're going to be there at all. And I really want to see how the business model changes. They're going to stay on the Blizzard launcher for the
Yeah.
foreseeable future.
Yeah,
For
a while.
They're still gonna-
for now, like, and I listen to a lot of podcasts outside of just Destiny podcasts. One of the things that they pointed out that I didn't even think about until like this was said, but on the launcher, like, you have all the Blizzard games, right? You have them, then you have a line, and then you have Destiny and Call of Duty that were on the launcher as well. So there was already a line kind of drawn on that launcher itself. Who knows, like, if Destiny decides, like, I don't know if they can decide whether to not stay on the launcher or move shop somewhere else.
That was contractually under Activision Blizzard, so I don't think D2 leaves that launcher, but D3 or whatever comes next might not be there.
Yeah. Okay.
So what do you think about the next big bit of content, ZG? You think we're going to see it sometime soon?
I don't know. But like I said, I'm willing to wait. Whether it's soon or it's not, I'm willing to wait. I think for me, I'd rather it be built right and built right the first time versus like trying to always have to like catch up and rework everything that they just did.
Yeah.
You know, I'm willing to wait. I'm completely 100%
This
okay with that.
might be a good year to do it anyway,
Yeah.
because there are so many other titles coming up that people are going to be spending their time in anyway, with Division 2, with Anthem. Whether or not they're good games or not, people are going to be playing them for at least a percentage of time, which is going to give Bungie a little bit of time to step back and focus on what's going to be in the future. I don't think as a business, you're never wanting to like not be in the eye or in the minds of people, but they're going to be on the back burner for people regardless, because what is it? Joker's Wild is in February or March?
Beginning of March.
March. Yeah. And then Penumbra is the summer.
Like June.
And like Black Armory is supposed to hold us over till March. Like you're joking. That is a joke. So it's almost like not that Bungie saw this happening, but it's almost like they're going to seize this as an opportunity to kind of like, if I'm them, I'd take a step back and I come back and I smack people in the face.
Yeah.
Content.
Well, and you see that with Sony even too. Like in the larger game sense of the world, it's like you're seeing major companies, you're seeing major IPs kind of take a step back, reevaluate, and then go a little bit further. So it makes a lot of sense. I don't think Destiny is a franchise that won't be forgotten anytime soon because of how controversial some of the releases have been, but also because like it seems like a lot of the gaming press plays it a lot. So I have a feeling that it would even stay in the eye just because of that simple fact. But I would not be surprised, and I talked to you guys about this earlier, if we saw like in September a live team be added to it, we get another annual pass, and then maybe we see a release maybe not in the September of 2020.
Yeah.
But like possibly earlier or later, because they're freed up to do that now.
If that's the case, it needs to be Destiny 3.
Yeah.
If it's going to be that long, it needs to be, in my opinion, you don't come out with Destiny 2 DLC.
No.
If you're going to take that much time off. And I don't know if there's already people working on Destiny 3 or not. I kind of feel like Destiny 2 has been much more of a hands-on than Destiny 1 was because of the way that it started. It's almost like it really does have the feel of, oh my God, I got to get caught up. Oh my God, I got to get caught up. Oh my God, I got to figure this out, than anything that I feel we've seen in the past. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
No, I mean, I think you're right. I think if they're going to wait that long, then it's probably going to be a new game rather than just, expansion 3 for D2. That's I don't know. I mean, we really have no idea. That's kind of the whole thing right now with them splitting from Activision. It's an open road.
Yeah, it's an interesting move. I like it.
I like the move too. I honestly don't think it's a bad thing. I really don't.
So, and this leads us to an interesting thing. Nice little segue into the TWAB this week.
Yeah. We got to hear from Luke Smith.
The letter says, hey everyone, I wanted to share 3 things on behalf of the Destiny team today. First, our sincere thanks to the people at Activision who've helped bring Destiny to our players, High Moon Studios for their wonderful collaboration on Forsaken, and Vicarious Visions who helped establish a Destiny community on PC, worked with us on Warmind, and who is currently readying their Destiny Swan Song with content that will appear in the upcoming season of Redacted. Next, in the short term, we're continuing to build the content we've promised for the annual pass. We've learned a lot from Black Armory that we will apply to future releases. Most notably, that we'd like the beginning experiences of content drops to be a better point of convergence for the player base. In Black Armory, we set the power requirement for the first forge too high, and that meant it wasn't a great chance to jump into some new content. We want to find the line between new content that many players can play and it's aspirational content for players to progress toward. We're exploring improvements to catch up mechanics for players in upcoming seasons. Last, long-term, Bungie is committed to Destiny. We created the universe, and we hold its future entirely in our hands. The vast majority of the team is hard at work envisioning future experiences, enemies, and ways to play the Guardian you've been building since 2014. We're going to keep doing that. We're thinking about what it means to be truly independent, what it means to self-publish, and crucially, what Destiny's future can now look like for our players. It was a busy fall, and it's going to be a busy year. When I look ahead and think about Destiny and where it can go, I see a bright future with roots in memorable past. Not everything has been lost in the dark corners of time. See you soon, Luke.
That's probably the most we've heard from that guy since he disappeared last summer. And there's a lot of interesting stuff there. I thought there were a couple of points that are really, really paramount in there. One, it confirms something, we talked about last week, that now that they've split from Activision, are they going to be continuing with the services of High Moon and Vicarious? We now know not going to be the case. They refer to this as the swan song for those studios there with the end of the annual pass. I thought that was probably going to be the case now that they no longer have Activision as a publisher. Bills.
I'd like to thank them for what they've done though, because they did a great job.
They turned it around.
They really did a good job. High Moon and Vicarious, great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, Vicarious did an amazing job with D2 on PC. I don't think I've ever seen a game jump from console to PC with as smooth a launch as D2 did. This game is immaculate on PC, and
it really is.
It really is. And the work that they and High Moon have done with the content has really turned D2 around. I think everybody would agree. D2 year one was not great. No, it didn't start out great. And the turnaround that they've made, just looking at the change in direction between Curse of Osiris and then Warmind is incredible. And then from Warmind to Forsaken has really shot this series off in the right direction, if you ask me. So we really want to thank High Moon and Vicarious for the work that they've done there. And I'm sorry to see you guys go. I wish you could stay working on this game because you did a great job with it. And I'm a little worried about this.
I'll probably look to see what else they're working on in the background. You know what I mean? If I start to see articles saying that this studio or that studio has been working on this or that, I'll probably want to look into it because I think they proved they got some chops. You know what I mean?
They did, yeah. But some other stuff that they brought up there, I thought it was interesting that Luke Smith noted that they're going to be creating new experiences, enemies, and ways to play the Guardian you've been building since 2014. That answered another question that I had about the next big game in the Destiny franchise, whether or not it was going to incorporate any sort of continuation of the characters playing thus far. Glad to see that's probably going to be the case. I was hoping they weren't going to try to wipe the slate clean now that they're working completely independently for themselves. A lot of people are reading a lot into this. I see Nim in chat there. Time to read too much into big words. Yeah, a lot of people are reading a little bit too much into some of the things that he said there, but I think just the notion, that we're going to be continuing the people we've been playing as and evolving the universe we've got, pretty clear cut. And I think that's probably the right way to go forward.
Yeah.
I was thinking too, like, when D2 came out, we lost our light. I was always curious, like, what would for D3 or like any, how would they start fresh again?
Yeah, how do they
Like,
justify
what?
that?
How do you start us back at zero? You know
We
what I
lost
mean?
our
Like,
light for like 15 minutes, CJ.
yeah,
Like,
right.
15 minutes. It said a month later, but it was like 15 minutes
Yeah.
in-game.
In
Yeah.
game, it was a
Yeah.
month though. Like it was a
Yeah.
tough 30 days.
Apparently, I was asleep the whole time because I fell off of the building. So it took me 30 days to come to and find out I had broken ribs and my ghost could heal me but not revive me. But
Do you think it's like
I don't
quitting
think
cigarettes?
you start fresh. I don't think you
I
start
don't think
fresh. I think you just carry right on over. Next
Yeah.
storyline, next text featuring whatever it is we have to go fight who's trying to mess with and said something bad about my mom this time. Like whoever that is, like that's where we go from here. I don't know. I don't have enough time to read up on the stories that and the enemies and the fables within Destiny itself. I just hope that it all makes sense and provides a narrative that the Forsaken set the bar for.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I want to see a narrative like that. I don't want to see any more. I want to know that the raid boss that we're fighting in the game has did something that makes you want to go and get retribution. I feel like that's something that's kind of been missing almost from the beginning. Like Oryx was the first person where we were
Yeah.
like, oh, that's where this dude came from, and now we're gonna go get him. We had a little bit of lore with Riven and mysterious things with the Dreaming City that kind of led to Last Wish, but I just wasn't paying very good attention. I didn't get the vibe in the game. I don't know where the hell Argos came from. All of a sudden, we got to help Callus do this thing, take out this guy for that. So
He was
I
inside
kind of
Nessus. He got eaten by the Leviathan.
Yeah, he basically
right.
got
But you know that
eaten
because
by
you
the
read, not
Leviathan.
because I did a mission. It was like, bro, he just did that thing that TBL just said. You got to go get him now. It's like, so
What?
There was no build up, yeah.
there's got to be. They're so good at telling a story.
Yeah.
Why not
Yeah.
just tell it?
They can be. They can
proven
be good
it.
at it.
I guess I never understood, like, did we actually finish the story with Callus?
No,
No.
Like,
that's-
We just went from helping Cat, like, jumping on his ship to fighting a dragon. Like,
Yeah.
I always loved that idea of Callus. Like, we fought this robot, but then maybe we'll actually get to
Yeah.
see him and like verse him or whatever. And that just completely was like, okay, well, we're on to the
Yeah.
next.
That's what it seems Penumbra is going to be a little bit about. It seems that we'll be making our way back to the Leviathan in some
Yeah.
shadowy
Yeah.
means.
Yeah.
And as Nim
there's so much
says,
wasted space in that area.
Yeah.
there's a
much
lot
wasted
of gold in that area too. It's really gaudy. It's really like it hurt my eyes after a while. But it's I don't know. I'm looking forward to kind of wrapping that up. But after that,
Yeah.
I don't know. Nothing that I can't see storylines that couldn't start a D3, start a sequel. You know?
Space Doritos.
Yeah.
We're still living the lore, and we're still living week to week in the Dreaming City with
Mhm.
our ghost getting frustrated and starting to lose hope about the narrative that is the curse repeating and repeating and repeating over and over again. Like if you're still turning in your Oracle offering, you're still picking up on what's going on there. And every time we go and see the Queen, she's a little bit more sassy than she
Mara
was.
gave the clapback of the century
Yeah,
last week.
To our
you know,
ghost.
so
We're fine. It's
Yeah,
our
we're
ghost
fine.
that's
She's mad at Ghost.
she's
Yeah.
upset with Ghost.
She said little light. She ain't say nothing about TBL.
No, I'm okay.
Yeah, they're still wrapping up that story, and I'm pretty sure Penumbra's probably gonna have to do with Callus. But you're right, ZG. They just got like, we go, we fight his robot. He says, "You guys are neat. I'll call you later." Calls us back a few months later. We fix his engine. Calls us back a few months later. We beat some dude who's mutinying, and then we never hear from him again.
Yeah.
He just dines and dashes on us. So they just kind of walked off a cliff with that story. Hopefully that'll wrap up in Penumbra, and we'll learn a bit more about what's going on with the Emperor in the shadows.
I will say though, with the Callus fight, when we first got that raid, it was I actually, with our raid team, we actually completed it day one in 10.5 hours.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time we were shooting, like, you know, you get him to that like maybe half health and he loses his stomach, and it's all of a sudden you're like looking at a robot. We're like,
Whoa.
wait a minute, this isn't actually, like, it just blew my mind. Like, we're not actually versing him. He's just making it think like we're versing him. And that I remember seeing that fight, and that actually is a good memory of D1 year one, was getting to that fight, fighting him, getting the mechanics down, and realizing it's actually not him.
Yeah.
And I want to find more story about him, and like I hope Penumbrum is about it.
Yeah.
Because I enjoyed the story of Cal
as Niobe Labs did. Although it was really fun watching content creators kind of squirm a little bit. That's kind of fun seeing that. I'm not gonna lie.
Sorry, Glad.
I'm just a sick, twisted individual who gets a kick out of it, though. I mean, first and foremost, anybody out there, mega props for being that devoted to something.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty wild to see all the different ideas people were coming up with. I am nowhere near smart enough to even begin to attempt anything, nor do I really have the drive for something like that. I haven't actually tried to do the Niobe Labs through 1 through 7 yet.
It's nonsense.
I had enough fun just unlocking the solo mission to get the sniper where you have to take the shield down on the dudes, but hopefully Penumbra, Penumbra's like everyone's is speculating that there's going to be an awful lot of riddles involved. And honestly, I'm looking more forward to that than I am Joker's Wild, because if they bring a DLC or a content drop that is specifically and only related to Gambit, there's going to be that's going to be your competition to Anthem and the Division. Piece out half of your player base.
Yeah,
because not a lot of people really enjoy playing Gambit very much, especially when they run into a team of 4 who know what they're doing. So here's hoping Joker's Wild is more than just Gambit.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of focus there.
I agree.
Am I the only one who feels like I'm kind of curious about this dude who just kind of like appeared in the tower and is like behind a grate?
Yeah,
locked away from everybody.
In a corner.
Yeah, tucked into a corner. I don't know, like. So, but is it really going to give us content specifically and only relating to playing Gambit?
Maybe. I mean, we know we're supposed to be getting some new game mode. That's all they've described. Some new game mode that's related to Gambit. But yeah, if that's it, if like that's the only new thing in there, just maybe a couple of story missions and a new Gambit game mode. Yeah, that ain't it, Chief. That ain't gonna keep people busy until like June or July. Not with Division 2, Anthem, and all these other games getting ready to drop.
Not unless Trials of Osiris comes back with it.
That had better. Yeah. Oh my goodness. How has that game mode not been spoken of since summer?
Bungie just had a bunch of people go out.
Yeah.
Invited out to test some stuff. And there's a very specific roster that they had go out. And they had to play test some specific things that are related to, I would assume, our next content drop. So here's hoping that they were the play testers for what could be coming out, whether it's the new game mode or whether it's possibly maybe somehow all they had to do was hit reset and make it like it was in Destiny 1 Trials.
Why did they change it in the first place?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, elimination Trials 3v3 with primary weapons only. The PvP was doomed to begin with in year one. Some people did enjoy it, but I feel like the vast majority of people did not. But it's like, I don't know. There was so much lore in the NPCs in the area you went to. Instead of the lighthouse, you went to the horse farm.
The horse farm,
whatever.
Yeah. The unicorn farm.
The unicorn star. It's I don't know. Here's hoping that that's what people were out there giving a shot at. We were told it wasn't going to make a return in Black Armory. They didn't say anything about it in terms of Joker's Wild or Penumbra. And I got to be honest with you, if you are fighting against Anthem and Division 2 for playtime,
you got to have something.
I don't know. There's part of me that thinks, because and this will go into kind of Anthem and Division, because with Division we're going to have the darkness zones, right? But they're kind of changing those a little bit, Anthem will not have a PvP side.
None. Yep.
None whatsoever. I think there's still some. I think there's still some play space in the market if you're taking those 3 games. I just don't think that it will be until after people finish those other two games.
Yeah. I can.
Is there going to be a finish for Division? You're talking to somebody who played like the base storyline in Division 1, and
Yeah.
I hated the fact that all I did was run around and reload.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't even get out of the the first area. I got really,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
See, I liked it a lot, and I ended up finishing it, and I ended up like doing some of the prestige stories and stuff like that with clanmates from Destiny. And I ended up liking it a lot more after they did a lot of fixes, and it seems like what they're doing now is taking a lot of that information going forward and making that a better game because of it. With Anthem, it's an entirely new IP. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, especially with on the heels or this comes off the heels of Mass Effect Andromeda, which wasn't really well received.
Yeah.
Mass Effect Andromeda might be one of the worst video games I've ever played in my life.
Yeah, that's what I hear from a lot of people.
Yeah. Yep.
And yeah, and so it's one of those things where I think you'll still see Destiny in the play space. It may not be as prevalent for a season or two, but we really have to see what the end game is regarding those other 2 games as well.
Yeah, Anthem's definitely going to take up a niche, but there's no PvP there. I think if there really is any sort of competitor to Destiny coming out, it's going to be Division 2.
Yeah.
And I'm somebody who played through Division 1, Year 1, Year 2, Year 3, all of that, going through basically every bit of content in it. And, you're right. They kind of pulled a Destiny 2 sort of thing where throughout Year 1, they basically took all the feedback they were getting and completely game. If you go to play Division now, it is a fantastic gaming experience. And then the devs have all but basically come out and said throughout the development of Division 2, we looked at Bungie, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Was their message uniformly for the past couple of years while they've been developing Division 2. And it's looking like it's going to be an absolute titan of an experience. And so that's a game that I'm super excited for. But you're right. I don't think the marketplace for Destiny is going to completely empty out when these games come, because it still provides a very specific niche.
Mm-hmm.
And shoot, even just playing Destiny is fun. Like the shooting in Destiny is still immaculate. I think it's
Oh yeah,
some
absolutely.
of the best first-person shooter experiences you can experience out in the world today. So it'll still have a market share, but it's got competition now. Something that it really hasn't faced for the past couple of years. And it's got competition now at a particularly vulnerable moment when they're separating from a publisher. They don't really have a big public content release schedule after this annual pass they've got right now. Yeah, they're going to have to put in some work. They are.
Yeah.
And that's good because competition breeds growth, I think.
But it's
Absolutely.
also been one of those things that historically, like, every game that was billed the Destiny killer. Like,
I'm pretty sure when Division came out the first time,
Yeah.
when it originally came out, it was labeled the Destiny Killer.
The Destiny
Yeah.
killer.
And
like-
Oops.
I think if anything, like,
The only thing that killed Destiny was Destiny 2.
right, yep,
Yeah. And
yeah,
then
you
that
got it.
The only
quickly
thing that
turned the
killed
gun on
it was
itself.
its own game. For
That was a
me,
suicide.
and I'm not the only one who felt this way, where Division lost me as a player was unloading a light machine gun on a guy who was wearing a hoodie and
Yeah.
him being like, hey,
They got Alex.
that's where it lost me. And
Yeah.
if you're going to be
I
a
agree.
real-time present-day shooter with real-time present-day enemies, they need to drop when I dome them with a sniper rifle.
Yeah.
With the exception of the guy who had the
The heavy armor.
flamethrower and had like 80 pounds of armor.
Oh,
I could
Jesus.
see that dude taking a few
Fuck
more
that
bullets.
guy.
Yeah, I could see him taking a few more bullets than any of these other enemies. But I look to, I'm going to forever compare it to Rainbow Six and Rainbow Six Vegas and Vegas 2 as a
Great
cover shooter, present day. I want that experience out of Division. And when you make a game that is built on builds and
It's an
and
RPG.
perks and whatnot, you can't. So like a present day RPG shooter game loses me. I am
Mhm.
too. My brain is too. I'm using a light machine gun. He's in a hoodie with jeans, running at me with a baseball bat,
Yep.
and he's tanked my entire clip in a grenade. you're not going to keep me as a player when that happens.
I'm gonna be honest. That's probably where that lost me too. You feel like you're just unloading on somebody that is in a hoodie and swinging a baseball bat, and it's just like, seriously, I reloaded 3 times. How are you not dead already?
That was it.
I got
that was
better.
I got better.
If I built a character that had like 8 billion DPS, yes, it got better. But I'm using a Scar, or I'm using an ACOG, or I'm using like I don't know.
Decal
It's
pistol.
too realistic. If
Yeah.
my thing is, all right, if you're gonna make a game like that, give me a billion enemies that I can one shot and come at me in waves and take up positions that I have to fight, or like that would be better for me as a player than 4 people who are just gonna tank every bullet that I.
Yeah.
No.
That was a huge issue with Division 1 because of the optics of it. Most people bought that game not realizing that it's an RPG first and a shooter second. And that threw so many people off. Because, you're sitting there with an LMG unloading 300 rounds into Alex with a baseball bat, and he still comes up and one-shots you. And Division 2 is going to be even more of an RPG, so it's probably still not going to be for some people out there. But, that was a huge complaint from Division 1 year 1, and I absolutely understand it. It's not like you're sitting there shooting a space god like Oryx.
Right.
No, you're shooting down the block.
No, I agree.
Alex is
There's
a
a
space
couple
god
other
confirmed.
things. There's a couple other things too. The voice acting in Division 1, like King Ithalian had an alert because the one guy who yelled he needed backup or whatever. It was so bad.
Back up.
And you guys know exactly what I say.
I'm
You guys
going
know
down.
exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah.
They got Alex.
The same thing with Anthem. When I see some of the videos and I see some of what's going on, like the voice acting kind of acts like it doesn't care that it's there, and so I'm looking for a bit more. And I'm not saying that the voice acting in Destiny's been this amazing, awesome thing, but they, for the most part, people at least act like they gave a crap about the role they played. And that's crucial to me, because if the voice actors weren't psyched about what they were doing, why am I going to be psyched about the gameplay?
So, question:
even Sagira, Sangria, even during the worst content that Destiny may have ever put out, which is the Curse of Osiris, Sagira and Osiris still, as voice actors, cared.
Yeah,
I love our 3 main voice actors: Zavala, Ikora, and Cade. Like, I loved them 3 specifically as voice actors in Destiny. They worked really, really well together, and the way that they portrayed their characters fit really well.
Yeah.
And like I would agree. Like in Destiny, some of the other characters aren't as dramatic, and they're not put on the spotlight as much. But I would say, the voice acting in Destiny is not that bad. Like it's.
Am I the only person who felt that way though? Like when I say stuff like that, are you guys like, nah, dude? The guy in Division who's calling for backup was like totally real.
They have Bungie did a really good job of selecting excellent voice talent all the way across the board.
Right.
I mean, you had Bill Nighy. Bill Nighy was the speaker.
Mm-hmm.
Like dudes in Shaun of the
Dead
Dead
went all
and shit.
out.
Yeah, dude. I don't know.
There's a lot of high grade acting in Destiny.
But it's not like EA is incapable.
No.
You know, it's not like the people who are creating Division 2 are incapable. I just want to see a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I had a question. Did you play the alpha for Anthem?
No.
Okay, because in the alpha, I don't know exactly how much I'm allowed to talk about, but there are a few missions you play through, and the acting in those missions pretty well.
It's on point.
It was pretty on point.
And TBL just got slapped with a fine.
I'm done. That's the end of my career for talking about the voice acting in Anthem. That's it. No, never thought this would be how I'd go down. But,
I'm looking forward to the beta, the open betas. I want Ubisoft to notice me some pie and hook a brother up with a code real bad, because I really want to try it. I really want to get into some of these things and see what's up. I want to. I mean, I want to pre-order. Dude. I just want it for free. I want to feel like I'm a big deal.
Yeah.
Just put $5 down at GameStop.
Is that gonna let me play the? I mean, I could.
Yeah.
It probably be like,
on.
oh, sorry.
Solid. See if these
cost you $10. Put down this $5, dude.
Just go show yourself to their social media account. I hear that works. For online.
I tried. I was gonna tweet them like how many dog pictures for like a code, but I wasn't sure how many people would think that was actually. Now listen, it's an. I get it, Nem. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I feel you.
Still wants to get noticed, pal.
Yeah,
Your headache feels better.
It's rough
man.
out there for a
Yeah.
pimp. It's rough out there. But
I don't know.
ain't easy, baby.
So outside of the TWAB, there wasn't like the main things in the TWAB were the Luke Smith letter, which was great.
That's
There
cool.
was the changes to we're getting changes to scout rifles, auto rifles, and what was the last bit?
Trace. I think it was trace
Snipers.
rifles. Oh no.
Trace rifles are getting
Trace
changed
rifle
too.
economy for the ammunition.
Yeah, sniper rifles.
Like we learned very little. We're basically getting like damage buffs for auto rifles, which I'm happy about.
Mhm.
Scout rifles are getting a damage buff all across the board in PvE. I think
Good.
like everything but the heavyweights or scout rifles are getting a damage buff in PvP. Sniper rifles, I know the fast rate of fire ones are going to get a bit of a damage buff in PvP, so that the two
Body, right?
Two-shot
Yeah.
body.
Yeah.
Going back to the old days, Zora, whip out that way Lauren's march and bloop, bloop.
Yeah, I mean
But,
the supremacy does like 90 something, like 91
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
Not enough to get a two tap on the body for a kill, but it
I'm
seems
okay
like
with
it
the
will
chain.
soon.
I think
Yeah.
it's a fine chain.
I think
like,
I'm sniping is just so for me. It's what I loved about Destiny in D1,
It's
and
still really good in Destiny 2. It's just that
it's just
rightfully so,
other options.
flinch is really hard to recover
flinch
from.
is
Yeah.
huge. Flinch is huge.
Red.
But it's flinch. You're a sniper.
Yeah.
In Halo, you got knocked out of your scope.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was.
You got knocked out of your scope in Halo if you
Which
were
is
aimed on
probably
sights.
why I didn't play
We solved the decade-long mystery.
That was the reason why?
That was it.
it. Just that alone, okay?
Yeah.
But
I
we
don't-
also learned that we're going to be getting some exotic changes too. Like we
Mhm.
said with trace rifles, those are going to see an ammo change so that you get, more ammo back and that. But
4
Legend
bricks.
of Acreus is getting
4
a buff.
bricks.
Yeah, 4 bricks.
I remember that gun.
Yeah, that's a gun that existed. Remember that was the only thing people used to use in year 1. Yeah, it's kind of been forgotten ever since Forsaken came out with it was forgotten when the weapon change happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's going to be getting a buff to its damage and its range slightly. Super happy to
It
hear
needs
about
more
that.
range. It definitely
does.
needs more
It
range.
really does.
Yeah.
That gun
Yeah.
used to erase, but oof. And a gun that Aura hates is going to be getting a nerf. Moment of silence for Telesto, which will.
I wouldn't say I hate Telesto. I
No,
hate
you hate
Spectral
it.
Blades.
You hate it.
Why do I
It's
hate
void.
Telesto?
It's void, man.
always-
I don't remember saying I hated
You're on a-
Telesto.
The voids. You went on a pretty big tirade against Telesto.
Mm,
Go back and watch the video.
I
I
believe
don't
we
remember
can
going
roll
to
back.
tirade for it. I would
I'm
have
gonna
tirade
send
for
you some
Spectral
links
Blades.
afterward, Aura.
For Telesto?
But yeah, Telesto is getting a pretty big nerf. I think they're bringing its PvP damage down to match other fusions in its charge archetype. I
Yeah.
think they're buffing up its zoom though. Interesting. I thought really the only change that needed to happen to Telesto was maybe knocking down the amount of time the charges
Yeah.
main, because them sitting there
Yeah.
for 3 minutes
Yep.
is a little ridiculous.
Yeah.
Just
People were trying to use an Iron Banner, and I don't know if they didn't know how to use it properly, but it really wasn't all that effective,
Yeah.
honestly. I don't play comp. I haven't played comp at all this entire season, so it's hard for me to really say what's been ruling the roost. Telesto still seems like a very powerful comp weapon. I don't see this change being that much of a difference in it, honestly.
still a powerful fusion, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Telesto, I played a lot of comp specifically for the Luna, and I didn't actually have to play as much for the Mountaintop, which was nice. But Telesto for PlayStation, it was Wave Splitter, the trace rifle,
Yeah,
which
that thing
that's
is
what they're targeting.
That's
Insane.
getting nerfed.
I mean, that thing you'd verse a team of 4 with those, and you're just you would have to use it. You were forced to use it because the only way to compete against that was if you had one.
Just don't cross the streams.
Or Telesto. Just don't cross the streams.
Waves
Yeah, I
Splitter,
mean,
that's
Telesto
something.
is still prominent.
Yeah, I had Wave Splitter. I've heard so many things about. I haven't gotten it on PS4 because I haven't played really since Warmind came out on PS4. But that thing looks for gosh darn ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
It's not as dramatic as it was for
Prometheus lens.
Prometheus. Not as dramatic as that, but it almost feels like you have no time to react. As
Mhm.
soon as you feel yourself getting hit by it,
You're
you're dead. Yeah. There's no time to react. You
There
feel
was
it, and that's it.
There was one dude today who was using Cold Heart in Iron Banner,
Mm-hmm.
and just like you said, by the time you reacted to it, you were down. It was pretty
Yeah.
impressive. And if they
Mhm.
make a change to the economy, allowing that weapon in the Crucible to pick up more than 4 bricks or 4 whatever,
Yeah.
4 battery charges, whatever the actual ammunition is, that thing might. Listen, if you haven't tried them, they're really good if you live one life.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you go 1 for 1, if you trade a lot, like that's a great weapon because when you get a kill, you're not going to get enough ammunition to do anything else. But they're strong,
really strong.
Right, so they're going to be lowering its damage to bring it in line with other trace rifles. It'll be interesting to see
the wave splitter. Yeah, to bring it in line with Prometheus Lens and Cold Heart, which by the way they melt.
Are super good. They're pretty good.
Yeah, they melt.
But that's all the biggest changes I think that they talked about.
There were super changes, right?
That was last week. They talked about they brought those up last week and stuff like lowering armor on spectral blades.
Oh wow, imagine that.
Nova's getting
it's still gonna be awesome.
Nerfed. Yeah, Nova's getting
Nova's getting nerfed?
Yeah, it's getting a super nerf. Let me pull it up really quick. There's a lot of things changes. Like
who runs Nova Bomb?
Nova Warp or Nova?
Nova Warp. Nova Warp.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Nova Bomb. I was gonna say. I haven't seen a Nova Bomb in like 8 months.
Yeah.
You might see one soon, but with Nova Warp, you're now going to have slower movement while charging. Charging is going to cost more energy, and overall your duration is going to be reduced. The damage resistance is going to be reduced, and you're going to have a PvP damage reduction. So you're not going to deal you're not going to deal enough damage to one shot other suit.
Breaks my heart, dude. I hate to say
I
it.
bet. Yeah. I believe you. I 100% believe
I'm weeping.
What about the? Does it say anything about getting killed through walls in that part?
No, that's part of the perk. You're supposed to get killed through walls of that super, but I'm on a second. I was on a second level. I was a floor above it and 12 feet away from
the stairs.
Yeah.
That was I wasn't even mad. I was impressed. I was like, holy
wow. On PC I would run with my I keep saying bones, with my stompies. And you know, with FOV being so wide, you can see almost how high you are above the Nova Warp. And I would be at a peak of a jump. I would be like probably almost at the barrier of the map, and I would still get wrecked by it. And it's just like, what do you do? Like, there's nothing you can do.
No, the range on it is ridiculous.
Can you blink while you're in it? Almost like ionic blink, like you can with the.
I think you can.
That'd be neat. I've been running my Warlock is a very baby. It's like 4 days old. It's already 650 though because Bungie.
Yeah.
And I have the Crown Tempest.
Crown of Tempest, yeah.
Yeah, and I run like old school
Stormcaller.
tickle fingers, whatever you would call it. And Ionic Blink, and that is a really fun way to play. Once you learn how to use Ionic Blink, especially against other supers, I baited and babied a couple of supers because I was able to blink backwards out of their attack, which was really fun.
Yeah, the gap clearing with Ionic Blink is super good. I just wish it didn't cost as much super energy to use.
I actually
was going to get a reduction in that thought.
I think they did.
Yeah. I actually really enjoy the Geomags with the new super, the Kamehameha.
Yeah.
Isn't that for PvE though? Like you just
it's a PvE. Yeah, it's for PvE. It's mainly for PvE. If you want to do it for PvP, you can kill something and then cancel your super, and like that will work really well with it too. But yeah, it's mainly for PvE. But I find that it's just really, I don't know. There's just something about you feel powerful when you just shoot this giant beam of light across the map. I don't know, but I've been running. I run that occasionally. I run that, and that's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, and like the amount of time it extends your super by is noticeable.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
You get a lot of time in your super to just sit there and blast things with power. It's great.
Yeah.
Love it. So you didn't hear about the golden gun change, huh, Aura?
Yes, I did. I did hear about that. Rewarding high skill with high reward. So a 6-shot on every precision kill, it gives you another shot, right? So you could turn a 6-shot into a 12-shot.
It's not even precision.
It's not even precision.
Any kill you get. It doesn't have to be precision. You just get a kill and get another shot.
6-shot doesn't always 1-shot kill people, though.
That's true.
It's a 2-shot for a super, right?
2-shot for a super, yeah.
But if you bop, you get one back.
You get one back. Buy one, get one free.
But it doesn't. I don't think it extends your timer. So that's
not.
still
the timer
really
the same.
Yeah, so it's still a really quick super. But yeah, you get a bullet back.
Yeah.
You get like what, 10 to 11 seconds in Golden Gun?
Yeah,
they made it longer. They made it longer recently because people weren't being able to use it, and they want you to be able to use the things they put in the game.
Yeah,
I mean, before it was your time.
Yeah, before you'd hear it pop, and then you would just run. You were able to like dodge it the entire time.
Around the corner.
Right. you need to know that there are multiple enemies around the corner from you when you go into it. And
Yeah.
I used it during either during the beta or like just after the game had officially launched, and it was on the beta map, and they were all on B in the middle, and I was able to pull off 4 or 5 people with it because they were all in a row and they didn't know it was coming. But that's really the only time it was ever useful.
So
it really hadn't been that great ever since.
that's a change that's across PvE and PvP, right?
Yes.
And it affects both 6-shot and precision.
So 6-shot is getting the kills return a bullet. The precision kill is going to be practice makes perfect, gives you increased super regen. You get basically even more energy back.
Okay.
I don't see it really dominating. We'll see what happens.
No.
I don't see it being.
Gotta be a
I mean,
lot
spectral blades are still going to be too dominant. Blade barrage is going to be too panicky.
Yeah, you can blow yourself up with that now.
Yeah, but you really got to try.
Yeah, you got to be super close to something. That's
the only
panic.
Usually
panic
with
poppers.
panic. I mean, that's the only way I see it changing because like normally when you throw those, you're like 20 feet up in the air.
Yeah,
you know, you're
There's
trying
either maps that you like just the elevation itself. Like if you're burning shrine, if you're on a staircase and you pop it, it's gonna hit the roof instead of hitting the target.
It's
so
gonna hit you.
I'm gonna meme myself a couple times on maps like that. I can tell you that right now. Yeah. So.
But yeah, some interesting super changes that are all going to be dropping, I do believe, on the 29th. Update 2.1.4, which is also bringing the last word. By the way, excited to see how that's going to pan out. But all right, was it time to move on to questions, Dan?
I believe so. And so far, it seems like we've only had a couple.
Right on. Well, chat, get in there, ask some questions.
Yeah. So, chat, if you have questions, at one of us that are here. I personally, so I have a question for ZG.
Okay.
Ooh.
So this past week, this past Saturday, Nim, myself, and T-Bot joined you for a bit of a charity run that you were doing last weekend. So tell us a little bit more about that. Why you chose St. Jude to benefit, and how much you raised.
So was that already last week?
It was last Saturday.
Yeah, last week we ran a 24-hour, even though it got cut short because of some technical difficulties. But it ran a whole 24 hours, but we had to end stream to restart it. But either way, ran a 24-hour charity stream for St. Jude. One of the reasons why I chose St. Jude is, one, I honestly didn't hear of St. Jude until my involvement in the Destiny directory. You know, I wasn't familiar with a lot of charities, but I found St. Jude, one, because of GuardianCon, obviously, and then I loved everything about what it meant, and two, I wanted to be a part of it because I felt like with me trying to me doing something that I'm able to enjoy, I want to share that with somebody else, and I thought raising money for a great cause was a way to do that. And so last week we ran a 24-hour charity stream. We raised $2,705.01.
Right on.
And we had Planet Destiny. So you, Dan, Nem, T-Bot, Carolee wasn't able to join us, unfortunately. And then we had the game guide. So Clyde and James joined us, and we, for a little bit, this was when we had the technical difficulties, but we did for maybe about an hour. We tried the Niobe Labs. We got to wave 7, but we just couldn't get to the point where we cleared all the ads to complete it. Then we had Grenader Jake. We had Damn It to Hell. We had T-Monster. We had Young Khan. And it was what I treated it as was like a podcast. Just come on, hang out. I'm going to ask you some questions. Maybe some chat has some questions or, you know, whatever. But I wanted it to feel like a normal conversation. I wanted it to be like us hanging out, but like just, you know, so people can get to know you a little bit better. But I've done it 3 years in a row. First year I ran 2 12 hours. Second year I ran a 24-hour. Third year I ran a 24-hour. And I plan on doing it next year too.
That's awesome, man.
Right on. Man.
Yeah.
Congratulations, dude.
Thanks. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
You've come a long way since the first time I heard of you, ZG, was through Guardian Outpost. He was doing the he was doing the player
Spotlights.
Yeah, the spotlights.
Yeah.
And that's how I heard about you. And like, you've done nothing but impress me.
Thanks, brother.
Since.
Absolutely.
And it's
Well, I
been a
appreciate-
He
pleasure
tells me in
working with you.
DMs how much you impress him.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, come
Shut
on, I don't
up
get
about
these
that,
things.
Aura. That's between you and me.
Sorry.
Mm.
So
talk
I've
about
got a
that.
question for you, ZG.
Okay.
Something that I generally try to ask everybody who comes on here. Obviously, pretty big gamer. You talked about some of your previous franchises like Call of Duty. So what's your favorite Call of Duty game?
So I'm actually gonna say, so obviously Modern Warfare's are really popular. Like everybody loves the first, like, or Modern Warfare 2, everybody was like really stuck on. But
Yeah,
I was a
same.
big fan of the original Black Ops.
Yeah, me too. That's
The
where
origi-
Evil R was born.
Yeah, I fell in love with the maps. I fell in love with the speed of the game. It was a little bit slower. You know, you weren't always bumping into somebody. You could actually run around the map and not see somebody for like maybe 3 seconds.
Yeah,
You know,
not insta-die.
and not insta die.
16 dual
Yeah.
1911s. I still remember that loadout.
I love sniping, and like I love sniping in any game really, but like sniping in Black Ops just felt really good. The weapons felt like they did damage. The I don't know, just the way that the game felt, but like Black Ops to me was probably my favorite Call of Duty,
My
the
dude.
original.
Right on, dude.
The
Right
original.
on.
Good answer, ZG.
Yeah. Ayo.
Good stuff. How you feel about Black Ops 4?
So I played it once. I played Blackout. I played Blackout at a buddy's house, and it reminded me a lot of PUBG, PlayerUnknown
Yeah,
Battlegrounds.
yeah.
And I played it
Way
on
better
console.
looking.
Way better looking. Way better looking. But I played it on I played Blackout on console, and it reminded me of PUBG so much that it's like I almost felt clunky on a controller. You know, going through somebody's inventory after you kill them and do all this, and it just was like if I maybe played it on PC, I would enjoy it more because it felt familiar as PUBG, but I didn't have a good time with it because I was so unfamiliar with a controller in a game that felt like PUBG that I'm used to on a mouse and keyboard.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I never played any of the multiplayer besides Blackout. Played
Well, I
it
mean,
once
if
and never played
If
it.
you played Blackout, you basically played the best of the content. in
Yeah,
that
right.
game.
Right.
But it's I think describing it as like slightly better PUBG or slightly prettier PUBG is
Yeah,
perfect.
it's
Exactly what
yeah.
Blackout's like. As
No,
my
and I
buddy
mean
Thunder
PUBG,
calls
I
it,
enjoyed
bag
PUBG,
fumbling simulator.
but it was just so unoptimized and it
Yeah, it's
like
glitchy.
hurts my brain and it's just like how, you know, I hate when a game is beautiful, but people specifically dumb down the graphics so they have an advantage.
So it plays better.
so plays better, but like you can also see like, you know, somebody running through a forest, you can see them across the map. So there's nothing rendering.
Yeah.
You know, like I hated that, but with like Call of Duty, you don't have that option. You play at one level, everybody's at the same level, and the game's beautiful. So
Good answer. By the way, for anybody who is out there maybe on PC, Blackout is currently free to play on PC. if you
Oh, I
wanna
thought it was
try
free
it.
to play, in which I was
It
getting
is. It's
itchy.
free to play.
It's
Completely
getting itchy
free
to play it.
Play it and get fleas. No.
Only you.
There we go.
Only you, my dude.
I love you guys. I love you guys. All right, shall we get into questions?
Let's do it.
All
More
right.
dad jokes, please.
Don't make me stop this van. I am Darkness24 asks, how do you guys feel about Acreus getting a buff?
It's still a power weapon, right?
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's not gonna get.
It's not going
it's
to be
not gonna
crazy.
get used.
no.
I mean, maybe, you know, maybe it will. I don't. The power weapon slot is so limited in so many ways. There really aren't that many options. You know, I always think of it in terms of Crucible.
Yeah.
I mentally think the same way. I always think
So-
Crucible right off the bat.
It could actually occupy a pretty good spot in Crucible. It probably already does. Just nobody thinks to even take it
Yeah.
out of collections
The
or even
anti-super
has it
weapon.
because it wasn't the most easy of quests to accomplish. In fact, I don't have it on any platform,
Really?
so I haven't finished it. No,
Oh yeah, I haven't
What?
finished it either.
What was it? The seals? You had to like
Yeah.
complete
Yeah.
each.
yeah, to
Prestige.
basically finish a prestige raid by the time it was all said and done, and given the history of completions for Bungie raids, I'd wager that the majority of the player base doesn't have it.
Mhm.
Probably.
Maybe. Yeah.
Hey, you know, you're absolutely right to think of it in from a PvP lens. Acreus was always good in PvE. It was great for erasing mages and all that kind of thing. But the real utility for it in year 1 of D2 was PvP, because it was
Yeah.
one of the few things you could just erase supers with. Everybody
Absolutely.
remembers how
Yep.
how rough of a time we had taking care of supers in year 1. That's what Acreus was. Somebody running at you in Arc Strider, bloop. Nova Bomb, bloop. Titan, bloop. And it's kind of fallen by the wayside in Forsaken. So I'm happy to see it get a range buff and a damage buff. It's about what
And I think too, like, I mean, now that our loadouts have completely changed, not completely changed, but changed in the sense of like, you can run a sniper in your primary, a hand cannon in your secondary, and then you can run this giant shotgun.
Yeah.
You know, so you can still run all 3. You can still run a primary, you know, and 2 secondaries or whatever. But it could still fit. I haven't used it in forever, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't even think about it.
It's funny, but Tractor Cannon is basically a better Legend of Acreus. It has better range. You get more ammo, especially with the Masterwork, and it does the same thing. It erases supers.
My loadout in Crucible, I'm that guy, but I run the Wardcliff, and I have that
asshole.
and I have it masterworked. That thing is just dirty. The way that those missiles track, it's I shoot it and just turn because I know that they're gonna hit.
Yep.
Dumb.
It's basically it's a rocket shotgun. It's weird. If it's like if they're
A
at long
rock gun?
distance, ew. But I'm that guy. I run I always run the Wardcliff. I'm always that guy.
It's a great solution. It's a fantastic weapon for PvP.
Luna and Wardcliff.
Damn. Big Squeak asks, should exotics come with existing masterworks or have them be added at a later date?
You mean like make new masterworks for exotics?
Yeah.
No, like they should, when you get them, they should have the ability of a masterwork already in play instead of them coming out like a month or 2 later for the weapon.
Oh.
At least that's how I understood it.
Yeah. What you said.
I don't really know. You know, I mean,
I don't know the process. I don't know how difficult it is to, you know, they want to get the exotic out there and then then try to figure out what the actual masterwork could be to.
how to buff it.
I'm not a huge fan of Masterworks, period. We talked about this almost every week. I want Masterworks to completely break the weapon. I want them to be so broken, overpowered. I want them to make the game break itself, like literally get an error code because that's how powerful they are.
Yeah.
And they don't do that. I'm working on the Vigilance Wing Catalyst right now. I don't even know why, just because it's a thing to do. And all it's going to do is make the weapon full auto.
Yeah.
No.
Doesn't increase its rate of fire or anything like that. It just you just don't have to
full auto vigilance. Yeah. And I just got the World Line 0 one where you have to damage every escalation protocol boss.
Yep.
Yay.
And the benefit is not great. It just makes you it makes the ability activate a little bit faster.
Yeah, something worthless. Something basically worthless. They're remnants of a weapon system that wasn't complete when the game shipped.
Yep.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. That's a huge problem with that because not all masterworks are equal.
Nope.
You've
not
got
even close.
No.
Everything else, like you got something like Whisper, which gives you whispered breathing, which is a huge damage buff, and then you've got like
Wardcliff coil.
Wardline 0.
Well, I mean the Wardcliff coil like that. I mean,
I don't even know what the Jade Rabbit one does.
No,
it's just extra stability. It's literally just extra stability.
It makes me feel bad about my aim in Crucible.
I still missed.
The Mida Multi-Tools Catalyst is increased reload speed on the fastest reloaded weapon in the history of the game.
There's no equality there. Like, how do you take something that's
Yeah, I actually forgot that the Mida is in D2.
You didn't play much Crucible year 1 then because holy buckets, man.
No, I was raiding.
It was meta at launch. It was the most incredible, hard-hitting, couldn't counter it scout rifle in
extra agility, all that good stuff.
Or Destiny 2. It was the exotic weapon to use in Crucible.
Wait till the end of the month. We're gonna see it. I think we're gonna see it come back in a pretty
reload
major way.
speed be immaculate. Oh my god, I can reload so fast.
Yeah, that's so weird that some of these masterworks are really good. Like I think Tractor Cannon's masterwork is great because it gives it just a huge magazine size, absolutely huge magazine size for a shotgun. That's that powerful. But then like you have stuff like Worldline 0, and it's garbage. It's like that's not even worth grinding for. And the grind you have to go through for Worldline 0 is absolutely not equivalent to what
you get out of it.
Yeah, you're
At least
right.
the
I
Vigilant
think
Swing is
that's
like
where
kill
it's from.
people. Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Now it's full auto. Yay.
One I need to get though is, and I just like I'm dreading it, but like I want to go after the sleeper to
Yeah,
have that increased charge
Spire.
rate. Cause yeah, but I every time I think about it, I'm like I want to go after it, but then I think about what you have to do
Yep.
to complete that masterwork, and I'm like,
I
you
am
know
a
what?
Spire master now. I did it twice.
That's white.
That's all it takes. 2 times.
I can guide you through ZG. I can take you to promised land.
Well, you know what? Honestly, it's not even the do. If you just want to use my account and take it through, it's fine.
That's off.
fine.
That's off
Good.
Twitch. Let's not even talk about that right now.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. Man, I don't want to go for the Super Catalyst either. It's like it's not even a guaranteed drop. You have to keep running
I
that.
think
It's not a
think
guaranteed drop.
No,
No.
it's not now. I thought it was
Mm-mm.
if you do a Prestige Spire, it's a guaranteed drop.
No.
Did it with WTF Game Nation this week. We did the entire
No.
thing Prestige.
Yeah, I'll
it
pass. You
did
know,
not
Yeah.
drop.
Yeah,
nah,
Yeah.
never
that
mind.
ain't it.
There's
Chief.
Whisper
Nope.
of the Worm. There's
Mine charge is
there's
fine.
Thunderlord. You're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Mm-mm.
Jaw Rocker asks, what would you like to see for content in the next season?
Not Gambit only.
Okay.
See,
Wait, next season or next DLC?
season. Next season.
Next
What's the next
which
season?
is
Joker's
Is the next
Wild.
season the next
which is
DLC?
Joker's
It's
Wild.
Joker's Wild. Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
don't want to see Gambit only.
I might be punched in the nuts pretty hard on this, but I think honestly, with all the stuff that's coming out over the next month, it might, like with Joker's Wild, if they did like a couple of character building things on Drifter and then expanded on Gambit as a game mode and added maybe trials, be fine with it. I wouldn't need anything else. And I'd be able to try other games and jump back in, but that's me completely being selfish as a content creator and still loving Destiny, but also wanting
Dan
to
doesn't
try
love
other
Destiny
stuff.
anymore. He said he
I
wants
do.
to play
I totally love it.
Division instead.
Fallen out of
I
love.
love it, but variety is the spice of life. And
That's
that's what
right.
my
Wants to play
grandmother told me when she entered the nursing
Division.
home and started dating Benjamin.
He's leaving.
Do you want to talk about it, Dan?
No, I don't want to talk about that. Let's go for
I mean, I think you put out a wish list, a laundry list of things that I would love to see. I want to see faction rallies come back because hey, that was a thing.
Mm.
Or maybe just factions come back in general. We were kind of supposed to hear more about that. What, summer of last year?
Arms Week.
But Arms Week.
That token farming. Oh,
That was bad. Yeah.
Gross.
Factions, I think, need to come back in some sort of process. I think realistically speaking, I'd love to see a dungeon, one that they don't advertise, just pop up. And I think there's some hints towards that. Even with the Last Word quest getting ready to drop, we know that there are references to Thorn and some of the storylines that are going to be going on in Joker's Wild. I would love it if there's this quiet hidden dungeon that leads to some weird exotic somewhere in Joker's Wild. That's kind of like the Shattered Throne experience that we have right now. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm easy to please.
I mean, I like when they did when they dropped the Whisper, like that random thing on Nessus.
Mhm.
We weren't and I would even say like I'm going back to D1, like when we found out about
Black Hammer, but not Black Hammer.
yeah, it was Spindle. When
Whatever.
we
they were all the same thing, right?
yeah, it's all the same thing. But we found out by that we just instead of going right, you went left and you went down
That
this
was
hallway and you
wild,
found
man.
this boss. You
Yeah.
killed him. You got the Spindle. Like I
Yeah.
thought that was cool because I mean it was so
They-
random. It wasn't
one of the
announced.
hardest.
There
One
was
of the
no
hardest
Dude,
things
it was
to do.
it was a tough mission.
And you know what? Just bringing up the Whisper there, I can remember the day. Some guy just posted on the subreddit like, hey, I was hanging out in IO, which why were you doing that?
Oh,
IO is
Wasn't it
terrible
Farmark?
planet. I think so. He was like, I'm just
Yeah.
hanging out in IO and like this weird taken thing spawned. So I killed it and then this happened. Just shows a picture. Suddenly, Guardians flying to IO
Yeah.
at the speed of
Mm.
sound as we find this insane 20-minute dungeon that we get to go through that rewards you with basically the most powerful weapon in the game. And there was absolutely no hint about it at all from
Yep.
Bungie. None whatsoever. I love that kind of stuff. I love it.
I agree. I agree.
Mhm, mhm.
Sir Monty Python asks, do you think that the enemies from the end of Destiny 2 storyline bring about a brand new line of enemies?
I hope so. I hope so.
I'm always down to fight new people.
Yeah,
I
me too.
love fighting people.
I'm waiting for the Guardian. Like, I want to fight an AI Guardian. I thought we were gonna get that with
Mature Destiny 3.
Rated M for
Drifter?
the Siva. I thought the Siva, the way it was going,
Oh, yeah.
at the end, we were gonna fight a Guardian instead of like that Siva-fied actual Guardian, but
Yeah.
Siva. But like, I want to
Yolder.
fight like Dan, but like not Dan, but Dan. Like that's
I mean,
Guardian
we
is
can
fine.
1v1 any day, Aura.
You don't want none of this.
I don't.
Challenge immediately rescinded.
TV, hold me back real quick.
I will not be your burr.
But yeah, I think I think we've had about enough of shooting Hive. I think we could use a new enemy class or two.
I'm so over the Taken.
Oh, I hate the Taken.
I want to take the Taken, and I told people this, and they thought I was a crazy man. Give me an exotic weapon that lets me take the Taken and makes them go do things for me. Go
There
farm
was
these
a-
materials. Go do this
Farm these
milestone I wanna do.
materials.
Farm
cup
these
of tea.
planetary match for me Taken Thrall.
I'm telling you, let me take a Taken and make them go do work for me. They're not doing anything else. They're just
We'll just bring over
missing
that.
every shot they take.
We'll just bring over that artifact from D1 that caused you to melee
That was
things. and turn them
worthless.
to
Oh,
your
that was so
friends.
worthless.
It was so
What?
worthless
Oh.
because
It's
it
goofy.
was because like you would be caught in instances where you need to kill all the enemies to progress, and like somebody would melee an enemy and turn them into a friend for 30 seconds.
Oh yeah,
So you
I
have
forgot
to
about
wait
that.
until they're
And they
not a
would
friend
just
anymore.
whiff on the enemies they were fighting anyway. They was like somebody compared them to Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Like just
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man. So I'm combining two questions here. One from Dede02 and Butt Coffee 9. Do you guys? Yeah, Butt Coffee is a good dude. Okay.
Amazing name.
Do you guys think Last Word will be Thunderlord level good, or will it be weak since they're giving it to everyone a la Year 3 Galahorn? Like, do you think the quest? Like, also, Dede wanted to ask if the quest would be underwhelming.
the quest
Probably.
better not be underwhelming.
Right.
The weapon is probably going to be pretty weak. It's not going to be the way it was in when it was broken, when it was basically
Yeah.
not functioning the way it was supposed to. It's going to occupy the space that a sidearm doesn't quite and a hand cannon doesn't quite. It's going to sit smugly in the middle of that, and if your
Mhm.
playstyle
Yeah.
doesn't encourage that kind of fight, like I feel like it's going to fit well in the Crucible, but it's going to be counterable, which is what we all want. We want a weapon that fits but can be beaten. We'll see.
I have.
I think it's
Yeah, that's totally fair.
I want it to be good because they've got a decent track record for bringing.
can't
back
be
some of this
bad.
stuff.
Yeah,
Can't
it can't
be
be
bad.
bad. Can't be bad.
They'll hear about it.
Yeah. They'll hear no end of rage. Because I mean, I want to have hope for it because Thunderlord came back and Thunderlord's amazing. Thunderlord feels great in this game right now, and I want Last Word to come back, but I can't imagine it doesn't even have the same perks as it did back in Year 1. Like, it doesn't deal bonus damage with hipfire.
That's kind of
yeah. So it's not going to be Year 1 D1 Last Word. Like, I don't think there's any chance of that. Although there is that weird High Noon perk that's in the database right now. That is bonus precision damage from hipfire shots. It's not attached to any weapon. It's just a perk in the database. I'd imagine if there's going to be a catalyst, like a masterwork for Last Word, there's probably going to be a perk that's tied to it.
Yeah.
I hope. I want it to be good.
Yeah.
I want it to be
If it
great.
2 taps from the hip, are you okay with that?
Only
Two
from
tap-
hip, maybe.
Oh. Is it?
Only from
Yeah.
the hip. If it ships and it 2 taps from hip fire on a precision shot, do you think that's going to be overpowered?
Given its range, maybe not.
What is the range drop off going to be? What if it 2 taps from across the map from a hip fire? If you
Then
can hit
that'd
that
be
shot,
Year
I
1
almost feel like you
D1.
should be guaranteed. You should be given that kill because that's not going to be easy to hit.
I just want to be able to beat it with my Smuggler's Word, or Smuggler's
I
Ward.
don't even know what that is. Is that a
Absolutely
sidearm?
not.
It is a sidearm.
Absolutely not.
It is
Is
kinetic
that the
sidearm.
Is that the 2-shot one? The one that shoots 2
Andy,
bullets?
stop it.
It
Yeah,
ha-
stop it. Right
It's
now.
Stop it.
mine personally has ricochet rounds, full auto, and Zen moment, and I put a targeting adjuster on there just to screw with the fuck boys. It's pretty
Oh
awesome.
boy.
I don't know what that means.
People do not like dying to that.
They don't like that in sidearms. No.
So for me, it's hard to take the Luna off. So like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes, it
somebody
is.
that has the like not forgotten, maybe that's gonna have to be. It's gonna have to be better than that.
Mhm.
But it's almost when I go into Crucible, like my go-to is the Luna. I cannot
Yep.
take it off.
Luna Supremacy is my
Yeah.
go-to loadout with the Luna, but if I'm not using the Luna, my Mindbender's Ambition and a Blast Furnace, or right now it's been the Vigilance Wing because I want that full auto. But like the only thing that will unseat the Luna is a shotgun, essentially, right
Yeah.
now. Because the Luna is very strong, unless you have a Not Forgotten. Very, very powerful weapon. But the Luna takes 3 crit shots to kill. If it's a hip fire and takes 2,
Yeah, but there's also, but it's 3 to the head from how far though?
Yeah, the killer there.
let's give it Luna's range. Let's give it Luna's Howl range.
You want to give the last word Luna's Howl
Aim down
range.
sights?
Yeah,
Sure.
but-
But Luna's Howl
yeah.
range is not that strong.
Right. Yeah, agreed. But it's
Not
a hit
Forgotten range is
That's
insane.
true.
dirty.
That's true.
It's insane.
I can't hit that from that range anyway with Not Forgotten. The way the sights are, I wouldn't be able to hit my target where that's effective. For me, the Luna's Howl is a better weapon based on that alone. But the Luna's Howl aim down sights range really isn't all that absurd.
Yeah, and I would say that like it depending again it's aim down sights versus hip fire.
Right.
Mhm.
Being able to depending on the spray of the what's called the draw now. It's called the draw, I think.
Yeah.
You know, depending on the spray, trying to time those shots to get the hip fire headshot versus my Luna that I'm actually able to aim down sight
Yes.
and try to get that 3 tap. My flinch might be able to throw you off on your hip fire. Who knows?
That's true.
I don't know. It's hard for me to think of another two hand cannons that I enjoy. If I was able to get the Not Forgotten, it would almost probably be impossible for me, either Luna or Not Forgotten in Crucible, depending. But we'll see. I mean,
You should just play with Joey and Rhythm and get it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just do it.
yeah,
It's all
I
the
need.
tough
I
stuff.
have. Well, are they on PlayStation?
PlayStation.
Yeah, they're on
Oh,
PlayStation,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah, I need. Well, I'm sitting at 2,300 because of the mountaintop.
What do they?
So I'm already halfway there.
Yeah, what are they? I think it's like 3,000, 3,500 or something.
For the
It's ZGphoto. They'll do it.
Yeah.
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 They'll carry you, man.
Yeah.
Hop in the bucket. 'Cause
Not
they-
that
yeah,
you need to be
I'll-
Not
carried.
Forgotten.
Not
I'll
that you
slide it
need
in
to be carried.
DMs.
Not Forgotten is such a ludicrously great weapon.
I
right
want it
now,
so bad.
stat-wise.
I want it. I wouldn't even necessarily want it to use it because I probably will use it, but like just to have it, like the mountaintop. I just wanted to get it to
Trophy.
say I had it
Yeah.
because I would say for me that grind, though it is shorter, getting that triumph completed, whether it was like getting 3 kills in 1 life with a grenade launcher, like getting multi kills, getting 250 kills with the grenade launcher, and I was like just pulling my hair out because I'd have to use the
Fighting Lion or
fighting lion and
Malicious Birthright.
I didn't even have the militia birthright, but it's like pulling my teeth, man.
Yeah.
It was brutal to get that, but you didn't have to do comp, which was different. You didn't have to do comp to complete it.
Mhm.
You would just get more points for going into comp.
Mm.
But yeah, just going back to your point there, Aura, I understand, and I would love it if the last word 2-tap from Hipfire. I would love it if it was a high skill, high reward weapon. But I don't know if Bungie's gonna do that. I don't.
We'll see.
Here's hoping. I'd love that. I would run
Yeah.
around trying to Hipfire yeet on kids all day while getting one shot, because I'm in shotgun range because I'm using the last word. But I'd love it. I really want it to be good. I really do.
Me too.
Same. Final question of the evening. Brian 1082 asks, do you think Bungie needs to do more Twitch streams? When will they give info on Joker's Wild?
This is kind of a question where it's like, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Because
why not do more?
two blues and two tokens and a blue.
Blue,
Oh,
yeah.
they're
That's
still
why.
icing that one off.
That's-
aren't they?
Yeah.
On the heels of this, on the heels of them splitting with Activision, on the heels of all the goodwill that they earned through not only like Warmind and Forsaken, they need to be more they need to be as communicative as they have been in the past.
Yeah.
If they clam up and don't tell us anything now, Like,
that would be a mistake.
mistake.
Huge mistake. And I mean, they built that whole Twitch studio, and like they use it twice a year. Yeah, but come on.
Yeah.
They could definitely host more streams.
Yeah.
I think like live, when you're playing a game that, like you said, 2 tokens in a blue, he was just like, this is the most rewarding, public event to date. And then you got 2 tokens in blue. They just don't know how the game is going to react to that. So like
Yeah.
live stuff isn't, I agree. They should still be way, more open, but I don't think always live Twitch streams are the way to do it.
So there's a side of this that I would challenge Bungie with. There were live streams that they had that were incredibly successful in build type. And I'm going to go to the Age of Triumphs as it pertained to all the raid gear at the end of Destiny 1 with the ornaments or whatever it was that you got, the Destiny almost,
show.
the fashion show. That received massive hype and a lot of positive feedback on what was coming. Build on what was good and put away what was bad. They've done a lot of PvP where the players, God bless their souls, when you're looking at the highest skilled audience in the world, might not have been the best choice of people to showcase what you were doing. They also, I'm pretty sure they had a couple people out there like TV and Hovey. I could have sworn they did a couple of things where they did pre-recorded and launched that maybe way back in the day. I think when that kill confirmed, I forget what they called it, supremacy.
Yeah.
I believe they had a broadcast that had the names of the Twitch community involved in it, but stick with what was successful in those environments, and I think it could only be a good thing. You know what I mean? That's where I would challenge Bungie for something like that.
Raid alongs are great.
They are.
Yeah.
I didn't watch those, unfortunately. I didn't get to catch those.
You missed some good stuff.
I bet I did.
It's always really interesting when they get some of the design team in there to just talk about how they came up with like encounters and like the world spaces. It's so cool when they do that. They should definitely do it more.
Yeah. Yeah, but they have to be at least
I
as
agree.
vocal as they've been in the past.
This
like
is not the time to go radio silent when there's so much uncertainty about the future of your franchise. This is not the time to go.
They don't have to be vocal until around Penumbra because we know what's going to be down the pipeline up until that point. So I wouldn't expect too much more communication out of them until around that time, honestly. I think they're going to give us some kind of maybe info on... did they give us anything on Black Armor? They really didn't tell us much on Black Armor.
At the beginning, when they announced the annual pass, they gave us a Vidoc, which I still think is the inappropriate way to pronounce that. I think it's Vidoc. But they gave us a Vidoc of what we could expect in the annual pass. And they kind of gave us a rough outline of Black Armory and Joker's Wild and Penumbra. I believe that's when they revealed the name Penumbra, or like when it was like officially like the Season of Shadows or something like that. Or
the Season of Shadows thing was something they accidentally put out on the pre-order website. For the annual pass, they accidentally put the name Season of Shadows for redacted there.
But it's like they did that. I don't think it would hurt them to put out like a 2 to 3 minute video expressing what each like next season would be. Like even if you did that after, because we have what's coming up. We have Crimson Doubles after
February because it's always around Valentine's Day.
29th, Crimson Doubles, presumably one more Iron Banner.
Yeah.
And then it should be Joker's Wild time.
Following Crimson Doubles, probably a little like a couple days after Crimson Doubles wraps up, you put something out about Joker's Wild, and like you just raise the hype about the next season. You're good. 2 to 3 minutes. It doesn't need to be any more than that. You don't need to tell us everything that's going to be in it. Just give us a little bit more hype in that juice, and we can keep rolling.
I can agree with that.
I agree.
So I think that wraps us up.
Right on. Well, yeah, I do believe that's it. That's a wrap, gentlemen. Excellent work. That is episode 186. Making sure I get the number right. 186. I remembered. You guys thought I forgot, chat. No, 186. Got it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. ZGphoto, thanks so much for joining us tonight, man.
Oh, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
It was great to have you here. You're a beautiful face of the community. You do some
Hey.
awesome stuff out there, man. And as I was once told many years ago, he's an all right guy.
He's all right.
It's all right.
Pretty decent dude. You guys go follow him. Before we get out of here, we'll give you a chance to let people know where they can find you across the internet. If you've got any big things coming up, now is the time to shill it. So take it away, buddy.
All right. Well, so you can find me on Twitch at ZGphoto. And then all of my other platforms are ZGphoto Gaming. So it's Twitter, ZGphoto Gaming, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. ZGphoto Gaming, all one word.
Right on. When do you usually host your live streams?
I stream every week, Monday through Friday, from 9 to 5 Eastern time.
Full time, baby. It's a
Full time.
9 to 5 job. For
9
this
to 5.
And it's good stuff. Go check him
Yep.
out. Got those links in the chat right there.
Y'all,
Aura, where's it going, man?
You can catch me in my spectral blading hating ways at twitch.tv/aura. You can find me on Twitter if you'd like to @ me your spectral blade clips. Twitter.com/evilaura, 3VIL_AURA. 7 days a week we do what we do.
You know who just had a great Spectral Blades like clip was Fallout.
oh,
He-
No,
Like,
it was Mega. It was
Mega.
Mega.
Mega? Okay,
He
I thought it was
team wiped
Fallout.
twice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the clip. That was the clip.
Yeah.
Holy moly, that is such a ridiculous super. You can just pop it at the start of a round and whoop.
Mhm.
Give in.
Wonderful.
Do it, Tor. Do it. Do it. Do it. Stop hating Void and do it. Do it.
I don't hate Void.
Come on.
I don't hate Void.
All I'm
Hate's a
saying.
strong word.
Sounds like you. It
No,
sounds like you
what?
dislike it.
Spectral
At
Blade.
Yeah,
least
He
it's
dislikes
pretty
it.
strong.
Sounds like you dislike it.
you
Sounds like he
wouldn't
doesn't like that
invite
Void,
it
man.
to
Yap,
dinner.
Yap, when bad people
Yeah.
just yap all the time.
Wouldn't take it to bed.
All I hear is yapping.
Take it away, Dan.
Hey guys! You can find me, Dan Flannelty, on Twitter. You can also find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/DanFinity, almost every day for a couple of hours each day. Today we started my first playthrough of Mass Effect, so that will be happening on Sundays, and I'm liking it, except for the elevator portions so far. Those can go and burn. I hate them.
Are you going to go through the whole series?
Yeah, I think so. The Barely a Destiny Show guys have a Discord where they're running it kind of like a video game book club. I think there's like 20 people who are running through Mass Effect right now. And yeah, I'm stoked on it. It should be pretty fun.
Video game book club. That's amazing. I love
It's
that.
it's a great idea.
Let me know when you get to 3 in the ending. And then
Will
let me know
do.
when you get to, what was the last one? Andromeda?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to hit that. I don't know if I'm going to get there.
We're going to skip that one, huh?
Focus Fire Chat. So a while back, like probably like a year ago, Focus Fire Chat did a episode that they focused on the lore of Mass Effect, and they had Bife on, and I listened to that, and I think I'm sufficiently spoiled. So right now it's all just playing the game and having fun. So
Right on, man. Hope you enjoy.
yeah.
And of course, my name is The Black Link. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the internet, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, all at The Black Link. Usual stuff this week. There's not really anything too big going on in the world of Destiny, so we'll be having our usual Monday through Friday live stream from 11 till about 2 p.m. time. This Friday, I do believe, is when the Anthem private beta is going live. So you can expect to see some of that throughout the weekend, and then we'll have the open beta a week or so after that. So, yay! Anthem content. Time to see if this game is going to sink or swim.
Heck yeah.
I hope it swims. I really
Yeah.
do. It looks like a cool game. I hope it.
I
lives up
am-
to the expectations.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a lot of other people's judgments before I dive into it.
Yeah.
It's EA. That's
Yeah.
probably a
Yeah.
smart idea.
$5 at GameStop isn't going to stop me from playing.
Shoot, if you do it on PC, you just do $5 with that whole EA Origin nonsense. I think that gives you like access to the beta
Yeah.
for it. So $5 is $5.
That's
But all right, that's what's coming up this week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to episode 186 of the Planet Destiny podcast. Ooh, this one was a fun one. We'll catch you Guardians in the next episode next week. Bye, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.